Hey, there we are.
Hey, new dad Wooly, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Doing good. There's people now know, and there are two pieces of fan art, and that's cool.
I like the one of our kids playing Street Fighter or whatever. It's adorable.
It's
Christina, you do good work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Obviously, Punch Mom's loving it. That's super cute. Thank you so much. It's wild for someone to have fan art before they exist.
It is crazy.
That's
isn't it?
crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
That is a not normal occurrence. Wow. What are yeah. All right. Let's see whatever that means. I don't know. But yeah, no, that was very cool.
Nice to see everybody happy for you. Right?
Yes, and Drawer-san on Blue Sky, who also did a little family pic with a fun little glasses kid. So good stuff. That's a lot of fun.
And that's really crazy because, like, well, this is what people thought you were going to look like in cartoon form.
Sure.
Like way back, when you were still not quite a zygote.
Yeah,
but a fetus.
You were in that phase that people are legally arguing about.
Yeah, no, you're in the goo form.
That one where we can still confuse you for a dolphin or a person.
Yeah. As we work through all of our evolutionary processes, just like the Predator told us.
Did he?
I think I might have gotten my sci-fis a little confused there for a second.
Okay. No, I think you're thinking of the black goop.
I am thinking of the black goop.
I read your mind. Yeah, I read your mind. Yeah, I got that.
That's damn.
Totally.
That's good. That was spot on.
Speaking of black goop.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it back for a second. All right, let's go.
You're okay. Listen.
What are we actually talking about?
Brain works a little too fast there. Hold on a minute. Just okay. You see, the problem is that, and the longer I stall this, the worse it gets. Right. The problem is
I put my brain on hold.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm using the same part of my brain to put this on hold that I use to turn off the baby's songs when they're playing in the living room.
Okay. Good. Because this race to the punchline ass mentality is not going to be good for us in the long run.
No, I'm going to hold on this.
All right. Speaking of black goop, the film The Thing, I saw that the other day and I talked about how much I enjoyed it.
That's right. One of the best movies ever made.
Yes.
That's special effects anyway. Like, holy fuck.
So at Cinema de Parc here in Montreal, they were playing Escape from New York. And Reggie was like, yo, you want
sequel
thing. Exactly. The prequel, actually. But it's like, yo,
is it?
Do you want to go catch that? And it was like, yeah. So, grabbed Min and Shane, and we all went and checked it out. And like, that's one of the ones that I feel like I've seen in bits and pieces on TV a little bit, broken up, but not quite sitting down doing it to completion.
I think you have maybe seen the entirety of Escape from New York in pieces throughout the media you have consumed over your life.
It's kind of impossible.
Like the whole thing.
It's kind of
every part of the Escape from New York Buffalo.
Yes. Including South Park. South Park is a very crucial element. You can't just rely on Kojima to tell you the story of Snake Plissken. Because I don't know if you remember much about Escape from New York, but
I remember the parts from Cyberpunk and Metal Gear.
Okay. Yeah, it's great, right? It's great. I know I've heard a lot about how LA doesn't hold up and that it super jumps the shark and that there's like surfing involved and all kinds of nonsense. So who knows?
People do it.
But I will say that, like, as far as this goes, it's like, yeah, like watching another John Carpenter film and stuff. And I don't think I knew that, that it was him. Watching that, it was like, okay, let's see how this kind of holds up and what it was like. It's really cool. There's a lot of fun in the simplicity of, like, it opens up and immediately the only thing you need to know is the crime rate in 1988 has gone up by 400%. Manhattan is now a prison. That's your backstory. Shut the fuck up. There is no time.
Like something like Escape from New York and a lot of movies from the era, like the early 90s, it's this really fascinating snapshot. I'm totally obsessed with like the dangerous future of each era and like what's going to get us, right? And we had like in the aughts it was like meteors were going to come get us, like things from outside the world. And it's like, yeah, in the 80s, it was like, man, crime's out of control. This shit's nuts. What if it just keeps what if the line for crime just keeps going up like infinitely? And it's like, actually, we banned leaded gasoline. So,
yeah,
it's going to crash in like 3-4 years.
Give it a minute. No, but the parts where you're kind of like, you're getting in on that premise, right? And then they establish that it's like, once you get in, there's no getting out. And then, oh no, are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president? You know, the whole premise definitely relies on your brain to do a lot of the heavy lifting, you know. And to be fair, like great movies do. I mean, Alien, anything where Jaws, anything where the thing's off screen, your brain has to do a lot of the heavy lifting here, right? But the idea of like the whole island of Manhattan has been abandoned and it is just absolute chaos and hell inside is like, oh fuck, okay, that's crazy. And upon going into it, you're like, well, it's kind of rough, I guess, but people are still sitting around, you know, they're watching little live musical shows and having a good time, and that cab driver guy seems to be enjoying himself, you know. And it's a bit of a goofy little world where like Snake Plissken is like the most dangerous and angry and like serious about the whole situation, but things are like kind of just a goofy beat 'em up 70s world.
It's a strange movie, and now that I think about the predilection of like crime, right? I'm thinking of like how Escape from New York is portraying New York as like the most insane place that's ever. Oh my God, it's out of control. But like parts of Escape from New York are less actively hostile than The Warriors, which takes place in non-fantasy real New York.
Okay, so The Warriors is one comparison point there. I was going to go to another, which is like the example of the abandoned city left for, you know, the apocalypse. In the Ark Batman, No Man's Land, right? Gotham is like, there's bombs on the bridges, it's all isolated, and it is just a free-for-all purge-ass hellscape in between. And reading Batman No Man's Land is way scarier than Escape from New York, you know? Like all the rogues gallery of villains all basically cut up sections of the city into their own areas, and like their craziness is what determines the you know, the danger and how nuts it is in each borough and stuff. But overall, like that is like you're that's doing what your brain is expecting of like how scary it is to be in this kind of cut off environment. And here you're just kind of like, you're like, yeah, all right, you know, it seems to be kind of messy, goofy, but like, you know, it ain't the worst thing. And they're like, nah, dude, it's all about the Duke of New York. No one crosses the Duke, you know? And I don't know do you remember who the villain is?
I don't.
The villain pulls up and the door opens and it's this big car caravan, and fucking Isaac Hayes with a cowboy hat steps out. And you're just like, what?
Okay.
Like what, chef? You know, like you're not scary at all. He's kind of got a little jovial funk attitude to it, you know? And you're just like, this is the worst possible casting for a bad guy ever. It's like
you have to remember when did Escape from New York come out?
78?
So, no, 81, right? You have to remember like what character would scare non-New York adults in the year 1981.
I guess.
When you put like Isaac Hayes in as a bald black man, you're like halfway there for that audience.
Once again, I'm like, it would have been more intimidating to get Sho'nuff, you know, as the main bad guy.
Oh, it should have been Sho'nuff.
It should have been Sho'nuff.
So awesome.
Sho'nuff.
He is the master.
Right? it's just kind of goofy because Isaac Hayes does not carry that threatening energy whatsoever. And I did recall afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, I feel like I've heard discussions before about he's like the most miscast element of the movie, because Kurt Russell is doing a great job being.
Yeah, he's at the peak of his like 80s manliness.
Yeah, and he's like leather jacket grumbling his way through the movie. He's snaking it as you do, and you know, everybody knows him by reputation. Like, you're alive, aren't you dead? I heard about you, you know, and he's doing the whole thing. He's great. He's excellent.
You know what I love about something like Escape from New York and like, you know, Evangelion and like whatever, anything that was like, wow, this was like a like incredibly peak, like evocative thing at the time, is like you rewatch it in your current age, right? And you just go, wow, they stole this shit. Wow, that's crazy. The name, the eye patch,
Shameless.
like the whole fucking thing.
But you know what? You know what? After the credits rolled, I was like, well, fuck, I would want to make a video game based on that too, actually.
Yeah.
Like, you could pitch a really cool game for break into New York City prison with the wall around it and break out with the president. That's totally a really cool game idea, right? Also, fucking Lee Van Cleef being awesome, right? That is he, you know, you're just like, okay, you want your Ocelot, you got your fucking Ocelot. He's excellent, right? And that's one of the, I think, like, besides The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, I think that's the only other role I think I know him from. So
he's in A Few Dollars More.
Okay.
Which is really strange because he plays an incredibly similar character in A Few Dollars More, who meets Blondie and is just a totally different guy. Despite being almost the same guy.
Well, so that's why it's the trilogy, but not really a trilogy, right? They're just like,
no, it's we made 3 movies in a row, and they're all based off
the
samurai
same.
films.
There you go. But no, yeah, he's excellent in this, and like you totally see them sitting in front of each other, and he's hiring him for the mission, and he's all like, and he's literally loading up a revolver, you know, while he's talking to him, and goes, "You got to rescue the president," and the Snake's like, "The president of what?" You know, and you're like, look at them go. And you're like, yeah, let's get more of that. That's cash money, you know? But it's just kind of wild where, like, the world is not selling it as much as the character is, you know? Like, specifically Snake Plissken. And to that end, I'll say, like, it's still pretty fun and ultimately you know, it's a good romp. That theme song is an absolute all-time banger. The Escape from New York theme song is incredible. It is.
Well, Carpenter knows how to make an incredible, like, iconic track.
Sure does, right? When it's him as well composing, yeah. I mean, it's powerful. But it is interesting to kind of see, like, okay, here's the same director, same, like, all that competence and like everything, but like it has these little goofy flaws, and then you just fast forward a couple years, and then you're like, oh no, he had to build up to the thing, and the thing is just perfect. There is nothing to be said about it. It's just a perfect film, right?
I would call the thing like a triumph.
Yeah, it's a perfect film.
It's just unbelievable.
There's no part of it, like, I'm talking about the goofy parts that aged here, and I'm like, there's nothing to be said about that after seeing it, where I'm like, no, time is irrelevant to it.
I would say that, like, the thing, I don't even talk about the acting. I mean, like, the production of the thing literally could not be made today at the same quality, because the experts in the field of the best practical effects to ever exist are all dead now.
Right.
Stan Winston is gone.
Right.
There is no certified fucking VFX genius that can build the thing rigs anymore.
I mean, they are, but they're not necessarily getting hired, right? They're kind of doing it for the love of the game and not.
Stan wasn't just like the best. He was the best who was working every day for like 20, 30 years on being the best.
So what I will say is you can convert that effort into other things. Like, for example, the folks behind Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to talk about just respect for the old craft. They're doing it on another level with like stop motion and things like that. There's still pockets of this incredible like level of dedication. But one of the sad things to find out, I didn't know, was that like even though, yeah, Carpenter and The Thing, you're kind of associating that with like some of the most incredible practical effects, to the point where there was an auction, I think, happening like last month, where they had like memorabilia, and they had the head from The Thing with the like extended like tendrils and stuff for like 70 grand or so. And it's like, if you want to just get that original, you can. And you know, to which a friend was like, hey, yo, gotta borrow 70K. What, you know, what for? And it's just like that. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, you know. And then, you know, when the kid turns college age, it's just like, here's your tuition, toss the head.
Yeah.
You know. But what was sad was to find out that like Carpenter didn't necessarily then go on to be like, yeah, practical effects champ, because like he embraced like really shitty CG, you know, into the late 80s, into 90s. And so Escape from LA apparently has a bunch of awful CG in it, as do a couple other things he worked on. So, you know, that was kind of unfortunate. But regardless, I will say that like going back to
John Carpenter is like the most normal guy to ever do it. Like he's just like, all I want to do is smoke weed and play Xbox games.
Nice.
And then people are like, hey, do you ever want to direct another Halloween? And he goes, yeah, sure, if they paid me.
Yeah.
Pay me.
Well, I mean, they did a bunch without him, right? And then they went, okay, that shit never happened. He's coming back. Which is
and like he also has like gone on like I remember reading an interview where he was talking about how fucking much he hates going to filmmakers like retreats and filmmakers like seminars, where he's just like walk in and there's always some new guy and just waxing poetic about the right way to make a movie, and everyone's just hanging on to their every word, and it's all just a bunch of fucking shit. And I get high and go to the buffet.
No, it's just you need more of that like Anthony Hopkins energy of just like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a script. You just read the words on the page. Like, what is this method bullshit?
The method, man.
You know, like, no, you read it and then you act and then you go home. Like, what you know? But yeah, no, it's.
Anthony Hopkins is so amazing for that, because he's one of the best actors ever, and like he gets to be in the position to tell you that the way you're doing it is stupid, because well, I didn't have to do that. What, you had to pretend to be a whole person all day to read your lines? What are you, just a shitty actor? What, you have to become the human?
And you know, and he has a sir, as he's been knighted, and he's talking shit to you. You're being shit talked to by a knight. Anyway, it is quite clear that like, yeah, Kojima like is, you know, we already knew this, but you're like, it is beyond reproach how lifted everything is. But it's still fun and it's still great, and I still enjoy that I'm playing like a PlayStation 1 game has cutscenes of real nuclear waste, you know, and we learned about Muff. You know, it's important. It's still good.
I think what's really funny is that some of the lifting was like so ridiculous. There was a guy in like Metal Gear 1 or 2 that was like just the Predator. Like literally, he was just Predator. And I think there was another one that was also just Spider-Man. And like those were so close, they had to be changed. It was just like, fuck it.
I mean, some of the portraits as well on the codec calls, right?
Oh, they're traced over photos from like James Bond.
It's crazy. Shit. Like, until Yoji Shinkawa came around and started doing his shit, like they're just like, grab a photo of an 80s action hero and just trace that shit.
That's so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah. But again, he was like making these Japanese like, you know, spy games for obscure consoles. Who the fuck? The world was not supposed to know.
Catch on to this shit? I hope this doesn't become really important.
Right? Of course not. Also, it was the style at the time, right? You wear your fucking orange on your belt, or your onion on your belt, and then you make a Contra game with Sylvester Stallone and fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover. You know? You get Wizards and Warriors, and you put fucking Fabio with a sword on the cover. Like, this is what we did. This is what video games were. It was just, you know, everything was aping something else. Um, but yeah, it was fun to go back to and see.
Hey guys, hey, Lethal Weapon, but in space. Think about it.
Damn.
What if instead of police, they were police knots? Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh, dude. Oh, he almost bangs his daughter also. What?
Don't forget about the Frozones and the what was it? The defrosters or whatever the fuck. The like
What the fuck were they called?
they like
Frostoids?
they froze nut and then they defrosted the nut. And then you're the product of defrosted nut, and now that's a slur.
What was it? There's someone in the chat's gonna help us.
De-icers?
Frozeners!
Frozeners, yeah. Frozeners, sure, yeah.
Hey, get the fuck out of my bar, Frostoid!
Yeah. But then you had an amazing theme song as well, which is also very Carpenter, you know. I want to believe that Kojima reached out at some point many times over the years to John Carpenter, you know, and got no reply whatsoever because the clout wasn't where it was today.
I would like to go with a hot take that'll take about 15 years to percolate. I think that we are going to see a dramatic decrease in the quality of all ideas going into big budget video games over the next 10 to 15 years, as there are not the fucking glut of cool ass movies to steal from like there were in the 80s and 90s.
I will see that and I will double down on that take from the opposite side. Okay? So that's one reason, and by our powers combined, the other reason, Yoko Taro said it this week. Fucking
not enough weird people.
Not enough weird people in games development, right? That's it. We'll take that. That's it. We'll get early docket on that. Yoko Taro says there's not enough weird game developers, and that's why, and that sucks. And
yeah, but
they're using the screenshot of like the Drakengard like a true ending with the weird statue and the tongue sticking out right before fucking the portal opens up to create the franchise.
Yeah, so that's a function of global economics more than anything. And it's like, listen, back in the 80s, man, we missed it. It's bullshit. But back in the 80s, you could be a fucking artist, and you could be like an okay artist, like a painter or a sculptor, and sell to like a couple rich people, and you could just afford your car payments and your studio apartment. It was called a studio apartment because that's what was for artists.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you'd make men's meat, and that's fine. But now, unless you're working for Pixar doing 400 hours a second, like, nah, you got to get your roommates to fucking pitch in to get the new toilet.
Well,
I'm kind of flying off the edge here.
You're
but you know what I'm saying?
You're going kind of, yeah, you're going a bit ham. But but listen, you can still go get a product made, and you can still get your script read by A24. And if it's quirky enough, they'll put the quirky budget behind it and make a little trailer that puts all the link things that says like, you know, this thing did gangbusters at Cannes, you know, so you're gonna love it. It's quirky and it's coming this summer. And you know, we can get someone attached to it. So sure, you can still make those movies, but it'll transform into something else.
But that's like
at some
the
point.
Singular, independent, cheaply made genre of movie that still makes money to make.
And then in the gaming equivalent, you kind of just go, yeah, I'm gonna do pixel art and make it with like 5 of my buddies and throw it up on Steam.
You know what I'm gonna do, man? You know what I'm gonna do? All right, you know how? Okay, I pitched it. It's our new friend slop. It's got survival elements, and you play with your friends, and it's got proximity chat. Can I get this pitched? Yes? Okay, good.
Sick.
I did it.
Theme? I don't know. What's on the asset store? What are we doing?
Space. No. Vikings?
Okay.
No.
Mm-hmm. Fruits. We got a bunch of fruits.
Fruits. Yeah. All right.
There we go. Yeah, you know, it is very possible to be that quirky weirdo like creator and just kind of get the thing made, you know, as a weird little indie thing on the much earlier or so. But in terms of weirdos helming the ship, right?
Yeah.
There are very few weirdos helming the fucking freighter class, you know, ship with tons of people underneath them going, "Sir, yes, sir." Right away, whatever your weird commands are.
it's a really good day to talk about this because as of right now, you can play Death Stranding 2 by the genius Kojumbles.
New variation.
And
Okay.
Kojima is like the Superman of video games, and I say that because his name has gotten so much cachet.
Mm-hmm.
It has freed him from the worldly concerns of having to make a game that people like or will make any money, because people will, and it will pretty much no matter the fuck what. And it reminds me, I was talking about how I was excited to play Death Stranding 2 this week. And a guy responded with, I can't fucking believe people like these games where you just fucking walk around all day and throw piss at ghosts. What the fuck? And they're completely right.
Yeah.
They're completely right.
But that the way that cachet was built, right, is that in the industry, in video games, it's become humongous. You can't ignore it. And I'm sure that what the type of person we were describing that Anthony Hopkins hates right just now, those conversations that John Carpenter wants to get away from, clawing.
Yeah, that's Kojima.
That's is him. All that. And Kojima,
he's the nexus point.
If you can get him in a room with anyone in Hollywood, he will just spout all of that till their ears fall off, right?
There was
They'll be like, okay, yes, sure, absolutely. The creative genius of, it's all coming. Yeah, absolutely. Just the power of the art and the moving tears in the sea, all of it. They'll be right on board. And then, all of the folks that you got like Jordan Peele and everyone that are standing there and Totoro-san. And they're all probably just like, I don't fucking get what he's talking about, but I'm here for it. Right? I get this distinct vibe of like, we don't understand him, but fuck it.
I think the best one is recently the guy playing. Oh god, I can't remember his name. The Italian guy who's playing the new the guy who looks like Solid Snake.
Yes.
Luca Babadaboopy. I don't know, but he recently talked about how when he went into do the recording, Kojima had to explain to him that he was not playing Solid Snake. And he was like, I thought I was playing Solid Snake. And he's like, no, you're not. And I read that and I go, there's definitely more to that conversation that's not in the interview, which is like, are you fucking serious? It's like, no, not really. You're pretty much playing Solid Snake. I bet it's just illegal stuff. Right.
Right. I like you can just imagine in your mind's eye, like Mads walks out of the room with after having the conversation and just looks at Norman Reedus, and Norman's like, right?
No.
Like what
Mads
the fuck?
Mikkelsen wouldn't do that. He would he's got that like stoic, like icy look. So he like Norman would be trying to ask him questions and he would just be smoking and go, it's incredible.
Yeah, sure.
It's amazing.
But do you understand it though? Like, God,
of course,
no.
Yes. It's amazing.
And I would extend that to all the director friends and everybody as well, but there's nothing else like it. There's no one else like it. So you need more of that. You definitely need more Yoko Taro rolling around on the ground in your Suda 51s and your Toby Foxes, you need these odd flavors of like, I guess the term was auteur, right?
Yeah, but like people need to eat food and make money.
They do. We wouldn't
be getting Deltarune if Undertale hadn't blown up beyond all expectation.
And banking your lunch and your children's lunches on the weirdness. I'm not going to tell you to make that gamble. Like 100%,
Oh my god, what's that fucking game? Oh shit, I can't remember. Is it Altissa? What the fuck game am I thinking of? There's some fucking, I played it on backlog.
Okay.
And it's this N64 looking Metroidvania game with like a goat girl that has like a gigantic ass.
Okay.
And like this is clearly it's an Atlas.
Sure.
And it was excellent. And all I could think of when we're having this conversation is like, you got to be willing No, you guys are thinking of a different game. This is
Okay.
a different game by a furry pervert. I'm thinking of Pseudo Regalia. Pseudo
Okay.
Regalia.
Yes. I
And
remember that.
and like you got to be willing to like bet your life on enough people being out there that'll go like, I would love an N64 style Metroidvania for perverts. And like, guess what? There are tons of those people.
Absolutely, right?
And that game's great,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But like that's a fucking dice roll, man.
Or that other one with the robot with the big ass, right? There's a couple of thing with the big ass
That
games.
is so that could be anything.
Oh,
That could be
no.
Nier Automata,
Okay,
dude.
not no. Not the Stellar Blade or Nier Automata, not the human looking robot with the big ass. I mean the robot with the big ass.
That's
they know. They know exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't have said no. When I say the robot with the big ass, you know exactly what I mean. It's
there's a real genuine like truth to like the type of people that are willing to risk it and try new things are like completely incorrigible perverts that just need to get that thought into the world out there so people can see it. And like that's really brave.
Well, listen, one can have a thought, and that thought is, damn, that robot has a fat ass. But then the second thought can be, but what are they feeling? And
they're feeling like their clothes are too tight because their ass is too fat.
And are those feelings valid? And should we, as their creators, invalidate that humanity that we have artificially created? So we say all this with the idea of the goofy creator and stuff, but don't forget, like not a few months ago, we were also just having conversations about how with Hi-Fi Rush and John Johannes, the whole like you can have a successful game that you can play it safe if you want to and not be guaranteed success. You could do a great job on all fronts and have all the word of mouth and hype and clout.
Some pencil pusher didn't like this number in this column,
and it still doesn't matter. So if it's gonna come down to a fucking dice roll anyways, then like why not be super weird about it? Sure.
I don't know if you have it in the news, but the Lies of P developers, they recently
big bonuses
were informed that Lies of P sold better than projected, and Overture is also doing well. So everybody got like 7,500 USD in cash, a Switch 2, and 2 extra weeks of vacation.
Dub, that's great. That's awesome.
Instead of being fired.
Yep, that's nice. Which is what's happening to the folks over at Mind's Eye, I believe. Yep. Now, of course, the once you're talking, the larger the studio, the less any of that matters whatsoever. The more it's just, in and out the grinder, so to speak. But, I think too as well. Like, would you say? So I'm just from the outside. Would you say that Lies of P is a proper AA experience?
No. I'd say it's excellent.
Well,
like, it's not like.
Well, that's not what I. That's
Elden
not.
Ring
those are not mutually. Those are not muitually exclusive. Details.
AA.5. I don't know. It fits in a weird spot because it's almost AAA. It's Korean AAA.
Korean AAA. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Because I was just. I was thinking about, that type of success and looking at, like, obviously we've been talking about Expedition 33 and how well that's been doing. And, that prescient ass quote from the Larian director, right? Upon accepting their awards, basically going, I know what game of the year is going to be for the next 3 years. And it's going to be a game with a bunch of people that actually care about what they're making, that were allowed to make it, that weren't, and he just goes down the list and weren't given deadlines and weren't fucking having their pay docked and threatened with being fired over not hitting certain quotas or Metacritic ratings, and given the freedom to, and all the little things about the people that are enjoying making a cool thing, having a chance to make the thing cool. And so I'm kind of going like, is this just another simple case of like, hey, a team that didn't have to be over bloated was able to make something and we're not given heavy, stupid deadlines, restrictions, and crunch time. You know, I don't know the history of what's going on with Lies of P outside of it just being like, this came out of nowhere and is an incredible ass Souls.
They worked on it and then they put it out and then it sold well. That's the history. That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah, I guess I'd be curious to see about like the team size and some of the other stuff and deets. But I'd love for there to be more examples like Sandfall. You know?
Yeah. So the Lies of P is really interesting because it reminds me of a conversation I remember seeing a long time ago around when Lords of the Fallen, the very first Lords of the Fallen came out, in which I think it came out around Dark Souls 3, and it's a Souls game, and it's an unabashed Souls game. And people were saying that, like, well, you know, it's not fair to compare Lords of the Fallen to Dark Souls 3 because Dark Souls 3 is the fourth of those games that From Software has made. Whereas Lords of the Fallen is like the first one that this team has made. And the reply to that was like, well, yeah, because From Software keeps the same people and they just keep making the same game over and over and just working on it and getting really, 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 really good at it.
They get a chance to do that. The opportunity is provided.
And now they're really like, we got guys working on Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree that were working on fucking Demon Souls back in 2008.
No, and the thing about that, which comes up often enough, which is like, oh, that's an unfair comparison. Look at the size, support, scope, etc. Is like,
my wallet does not take your excuses into account.
Well, no. Well, let's put that aside, right? Let's put that aside. You're like, okay, let's get some fair comparisons, and I think like, you know, Clair Obscur is one of them, where you can be like, that's a brand new team that got that together, and you know, learning about it. I mean, they like from the Guillaume Brioche's like initial versions and stuff like that. There's a couple of versions it went through, but essentially it was
Hey, I gotta stop you. I keep calling him Guillaume Brioche as well because it's really funny, but apparently his name is Guillaume Broche.
Broche, excuse-moi.
Because I keep calling him Guillaume Breadman.
I thought that's what it was. Okay, Brush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but that was a 7-year development. It turns out, right? The that's not fair sort of comparisons. I think it's like, well, that doesn't necessarily apply here because here you have folks that like left a larger company and got it together through forums, and you know, there's ways to make this happen that I think you can compare. For anything that had more money going into it, more publisher power and or like a better head start, should be able to be compared to that outcome.
I think comparison is hilarious and really fun, but at the end of the day, there's a certain cruel aspect to it, because like in the context of this conversation, my brain just goes like, well, Toby Fox built Undertale by himself. How come your shit isn't as good as Undertale?
Yeah. That and this is
like how fucking mean that is to say to anyone.
It's super mean. It's very mean. It's very nuts. And also, it's the second coming of the cave story discussion, because 10 years ago it was Pixel did it. Why can't you? That's the voice.
Because I'm not Toby Fox or Pixel.
Yeah, and you know what? That yelling voice is actually me and Josh yelling at ourselves in our own brains going, why can't we do that? And every other creator that's going, fucking Pixel did it, why can't I?
You know, so I can tell you why for Toby Fox. I actually have the data, and the data is you don't have a lavish music background, as well as binders upon binders upon binders of OCs you've been writing in since you were in grade school.
I mean, there's a million reasons, and also the practice to be like amazing at all of the, not just the art, not just the gameplay, not just the programming, the story, also the you know, like just top to bottom, every single element you've dedicated your time to it. I said 10 years ago, the game, Cave Story is obviously 20 plus for sure, but I mean, Cave Story was not influential until time passed, until it became a thing where people were around the like a couple generations in going, oh fuck, the one-man army that can build the game. So I'm talking about the influence, which was after that release period. All that to say, you know, the like fucking this person did it alone, why can't you? It's super toxic and horrible, and it's the voice that's already in our heads, man. You can't do that. You can't do that to people.
Follow-up reason to that. in a lot of cases. Like X studio was able to build this for X money in Y time, right? How come you guys can't do it? And for many people in the games industry, the answer is because person asking the question wasn't breathing down those people's necks.
There's that. There is
I
that.
didn't have the boss man just
Um,
fucking fuming with a fucking spreadsheet in his hand behind me every time I wanted to build a new character design.
Also, it was unreasonable how far Toby took Game Maker Engine. Like that
Yeah.
is you're not supposed to do that level of work with it,
Yeah.
but someone being completely unreasonable about the project they're working on can pull this shit off sometimes, right? You ever play Lisa the Joyful or the Painful?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, those are amazing games that are like way too much for the thing they're built on. You know, clearly pushing it to the fucking limits. Like they're higher. They're by the third attempt or so of those games, you're just like, oh, you need another platform. This is crazy what you're doing here.
Now,
you know,
to be fair, we've spent a good portion of the past conversation shitting on businessman and producer man. However, we have like a Riot Games story this week.
Okay.
And we've had multiple EA game stories over the past couple of years in which the producer just goes, yeah, do whatever you want. It'll come out. Don't worry about it. And then the fucking thing just languishes for like 10 years.
Of
and
course.
It doesn't come out.
Because you know, like, what better place than this podcast to underline the idea that, hey, the extremes are funny, but obviously there's examples going the opposite way.
KO, bud?
Skong.
Where's Skong at?
Just yell the word Skong, and then a producer.
You got infinite creative freedom to not put a game out.
Every time you yell the word Skong, a producer gets a job. Like, it just materializes into a seat. You know, yes, 100%. You know, also, do I have some bias from like being in the studio watching as like what I perceive to be very little is being done by someone who's taking a lot of credit for fucking rounding up emails? Yeah, sure. Right? Did I watch people who were not very capable use milk and honey words to get themselves into positions of power? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
You know, so, you know, and are those going to be the people that are the first on the chopping block when it's time to? No, they're never are, you know. So
no, because they smoothed it.
But absolutely, there does need to be the okay, we need to fucking ship it. Shut the fuck up. This is crazy. That needs to exist too.
We're acquiring all of our dad phrases, right? It's like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
And you know, like, don't let your illness stop you from getting that homemade project out the door. You know, like, just the you ever hear about like outsider art?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've made outsider art.
Okay.
I make outsider art every day.
Oh wow. Okay, cool.
In my toilet.
Damn, that's sick, dude. I didn't know. There's
the futility of human existence. Here it goes.
You can go into and like look up the whole Wikipedia article about, like, you know, people that were like incredible artists that were just like nowhere near anything professional and nobody knew about them. And like there's one in particular that was like, he just was in his apartment, I think, in New York, and just like he just died and nobody knew like that he did anything, but like they just found his walls and like ceilings and doors covered in amazing work, but he was just like, yeah, he just lived and did it himself, and that was that, you know. Like,
this reminds me of Paige reading fan fictions and finding like the terror of the fan fiction reader is, I got like, oh yeah, I wrote 122 chapters. Yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna end it halfway through. I'm gonna be Game of Thrones man over here, right? And she described like finding a person who had written like the best one she'd ever read and being like, oh man, when are you going to continue it? And she's like, oh, I don't know. She's like, you should just change the names off on this and sell it and be like, you know, Stephanie Meyer and get your Shades of Grey money. Like, nah, I'm just doing it for fun. And there's like an entire underbelly amazing artists everywhere that are making their art for them only for funsies, and with no intention of
ever commercializing it
there.
or anything. Yeah.
Right.
I believe that like Amano started that way. I want to say like self-taught, like no real formal training of any kind. And I don't know, I don't remember the full story of it, but I feel like I learned that like Amano was not really meant to show up and be part of any game project.
I love Yoshitaka Amano. First of all, I think he's a great artist. Second of all, I think that Yoshitaka Amano getting to be like a big deal art due to Final Fantasy is the funniest thing in the world, because they're like, all right, Amano, we need concept art for this thing. You have 15 pixels to work with. And what does he give you? He gives you the most unworkable, gigantic fucking painting that doesn't even keep the colors you told him to use. And you just go, okay, fuck it. I guess we'll just drill it down. Like, have you ever seen his concept art for VV for FF9? It's ridiculous. It's unusable.
All the details, like 100%. But he's like, that's not my fucking problem. You go make your stupid little boopity boops.
So
I'm gonna draw. Stupid. You want me to draw? I'll draw, and you figure out the beeps and bops. You know, like that's your fucking issue. You know, skill issue actually, says Amano. Yeah, 100%. And like, what are you gonna say, man? You gonna show up to fucking Araki's door and ask him to commission a piece for your subway, and then you want him to dumb it down and simplify it? You're gonna get this weird subway art boy thing with a million weird other things happening in the background, and nobody taking the subway is gonna understand what the fuck they're looking at. But then why'd you show up and ask him?
It's what we asked for, I guess.
And fucking, you know, like, who is like Amano? No one. That's one of a kind. It's
kind of unique. Yeah.
You would never associate, you wouldn't think that was even connected to video games, you know, years ago. So incredible. Anyways, so Escape from New York was pretty good.
It
is. Fun tangent. Beyond that, yeah, you know, not a ton much else. Just did a couple things this week. The Yakuza 0 director's cut came out, and did a little hashtag sponsored stream for that. There's a lot of really cool new stuff they did for that game. The dub is really good, I have to say. Like, I was waiting to see how that's going to sound, and Kuze is excellent. You know, hearing the generals and stuff is like, you want to make sure they nail it, and they definitely did a great job with that. David Hayter coming in as Kashiwagi.
Of course.
Perfect, right? Nails it, does it. And he's doing a more stern, obviously cop sounding type of dude. He's not graveling it and snaking it for, you know, he's got range. And then, yeah, also the new mode, red light raid is literally just playable, all the bosses, all the characters, playable everybody, 60 characters you can pick and just go through online, 4 players versus rooms of enemies and waves, you know? That's a fun addition as well that I wouldn't have expected per se. So that it's nice to be able to like come back around just after beating this game not long ago in the original format and seeing a couple of these things here. I've heard wind of some other changes. I've heard wind of some plot details with some new cutscenes.
I think that the way that the RGG team made their Yakuza 0 director's cut is the most RGG way they could have possibly done anything. Because when I heard, oh, there was going to be new cutscenes, what I thought that meant was they were going to take the cutscenes that were still images with text for 10, 15 minutes and turn those into real cutscenes. But no, fuck that and fuck you.
That's too much.
No,
that's too much work.
Instead, what they're going to do is add new cutscenes to bring dead characters back to life.
Therefore, we can use them again in the future. No, so that Ichiban can hang out with them later.
It's so fucking weird.
Why else would you do that if not for Ichiban? That has to be it, right? That's the only reason you do that.
it's fucking like Star Wars like
Absolutely.
re-releases
A
shit.
million
It's so
percent.
stupid.
A million percent Star Wars. We're saving that character down the line. You don't worry
Oh,
about
it's
it.
so dumb, man.
So you're getting that, right? And
Adding a fucking cutscene of Kuze crawling out of the fucking Sarlacc pit and going, "Nah, I'm fine."
and I'm like, yeah, it's Kuze. 100%. But then also didn't have to go this far. I was very pleasantly surprised when you hit up karaoke, they translated the songs.
Oh, that's yeah.
Baka Mitai, I'm just a fool, you know? You get the actual like
That's already been a thing for a while.
The English versions of the karaoke songs?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Cuz that and Judgments.
Because you haven't been dubbing for a while.
Ah, okay. It's fun to sing those songs in English. That's fun. I enjoyed that. Okay. 7 has been doing it. So yeah, no, that was a little fun little revisit to the world. Unfortunately, didn't get a chance to hear Majima or do any English cabaret, but I imagine that must be a hoot and a holler. Took a look at Alpha 3 with Temujin, the aka Tony, Montreal Alpha 3 player, competitive back in the day. That's just a fun game to just fly around the cast and do stuff, man. You know, you got a million, like it was the
There's a lot in that fucking game.
yeah, it was a time when, Capcom would make a game and then they'd experiment with a bunch of ideas when they made the next version or the sequel, and then somewhere around the end you would have the final version where they just Marvel versus Capcom 2 style throw everyone and everything in the kitchen sink at it. And Alpha 3 is just one of those great games where you're just like, yeah, let's just fucking pick anybody and anything and go nuts. Here's Sodom. If you pick him in Exism mode instead of kunai, or instead of size, he has katanas, because back in Final Fight, his name was Katana, and he had like different versions from that game in here, like little fun bits and stuff. It's great. I really like Alpha 3. The only thing that kind of makes me sad is that they did so many wild fun versions of that game that like are not the like all-time definitive in a way, because you had Upper, where it was like all the PlayStation characters and the New Warriors and Guile and stuff got added back into the game. But then you had the version like Double Upper and stuff where you got like Yun and Mackie and Eagle and Ingrid and so on. World Tour mode getting tons of updates as well. And the one that I always remember, you must too, is what we played back in the day at college, Hyper Street Fighter Alpha 3, that had Marvel versus Capcom ism mode and Darkstalkers ism mode, and like you could literally just
do whatever.
Every single character with like you can pick a third strike-ish mode with parries in it. They went crazy on the choices there. Just a big celebration of everything, and it's unfortunate that version, all that work kind of got lost and didn't get preserved going forward. But still, like,
reminds me of some of the talk I see about Street Fighter 6, where people are like, how come Street Fighter 6 isn't changing in the same dramatic ways that Street Fighter 5 did? It was like, well, Street Fighter 5 had to change because it fucking sucked and people didn't like it.
Yep.
And Street Fighter 6 came out like solid and people are happy.
There were system problems. Also, both 4 and 5, when they released, they said in interviews on release that they didn't want to intimidate people by having them pick a character and then go into a bunch of choices. So they wanted you to just pick the character and then go. And like, in the end, I think that's like whatever. Like, you're not like that's one of those conversations where it's just like, are you actually scaring anyone away, or are you just like artificially kind of kneecapping some fun choices that could be there? Whatever the case is, in 6, I'll say that you pick the character, you go in, and then you can do a bunch of shit with that drive meter regardless. It's just up to you which one of these 5 or 6 things you want to do.
I think Street Fighter has like had a long history of that problem, and I think it started really, really, really fucking early, and I don't think they ever got over it. Because like, I love isms and I love grooves and I
It's
love
fun.
Third Strike. But at the end of the day, the thing that stands out most to me over the entire history of Street Fighter is like, well, why would you pick Sagat and Super Turbo instead of old Sagat? Old Sagat's the one you want to play. And how almost every single game has had a fucking version of that. Like, well,
Oh, this is the optimal best version or
why
whatever.
would you pick this fucking super? Why would you
Yeah,
play
well,
Yun without Ganajin? What are you, fucking stupid?
and to be perfectly honest, I feel like this is a problem that applies to the weird Venn diagram person who is not very good or experienced with the genre, but also cares a lot about meta in other games. So if you're a brand new to this game,
that is not a weird person. That is like a wild. That is a crazy huge amount of people.
So the issue, I guess, that I would say is if you are coming in going like, I care about tier lists before I really know anything else about the game, the priorities are not where they ought to be, and you're going to have a weird time going up about it, like trying to pay attention to what Daigo is doing as opposed to just, you know.
So we're okay at fighting games. I say we're okay, right? And I've been okay at other games, but like I feel like you are underselling just how many people walk into a game and go, who's good?
Yeah, 100%.
And someone just feeds them the tier list, and then they go, okay.
And that's
it.
And that's fine, right? But if you're getting into what you're talking about with like, oh, why would you ever pick Osagat? Someone that's not Osagat, are you crazy? And that kind of conversation, I guess it's just like, what level, like, what do we kind of play? Are we playing for fun here? Are we playing casually? Are you entering a bracket? Like, where are we going with this? If we're just kind of pressing buttons and having fun with it, I think the whole point of ultimately like why I do get into fighting games the way I do is to just be like, yeah, pop the game and press some buttons, like, have some fun, I guess. I don't
attributed more brain thought than most of these people.
I think like, well, I think there's two different conversations, right? I think there's two conversations, and I don't want to get them conflated because I don't want this to be one of those moments where it's like, you fucking alien, here we go, right? But
is you saying that or is I saying that?
the hypothetical straw man that I'm creating over here that is currently typing into the chat. The straw man that is here at the keyboard actually that exists. No, all I'm trying to say is that like with any game, if I'm learning the ropes, but I'm also like trying to focus on and like get in, like handle details that are way too intimidating, like you're just getting into like a character action game and you're only focused on how to fucking distorted real impact and then guard fly and get you know what I mean? Never mind triple S-ing anything, never mind being stylish, like you're trying, you know what I mean, you're trying to work on these like it's like, well, we got to start somewhere, and that place should usually be having some fun, right? That's it. So if like that's not a thing, or if some people like approach things in different ways where they're like, I've never learned anything about the games I play besides just what is meta, and like you stick to that and you go all in and that's how you play it. I will say that with fighting games, it's going to be probably a little more tricky if you like only focus on the really difficult elements, but ignore all the most simple things that come before that, you know?
Bro, I'm thinking about Gene when we were playing Night Rain, and how he just like cut forth to the ultimate truth of the world. And
it feels good when you win, and it sucks when you lose.
It is the best when you win, and this game sucks ass when you lose.
Yes.
And I feel like the problem with that happens with that with fighting games is that when you're like, well, is it about having fun? And to most people, winning and having fun are literally the same thing.
I just want to, like, walking out of here, I just want to say that in that hypothetical, the person who's picking Sagat is not who I'm talking to. That person is playing their game and doing their thing, and go nuts, have fun, play, let's enjoy it. The person who's standing there going, why would you ever pick that version of Sagat? You're picking the wrong one. Fuck that guy. You're an asshole. You suck. You're a problem. I hate that.
The problem.
Right?
Here's the problem.
That's the person that I'm putting shade on.
Do you remember? Okay, I know that guy. We've all met that guy. The problem with that guy is that for a good amount of time, they're gonna beat you because they know just a little bit more, and that's where their shithead personality comes from.
Okay, well, whatever, man. Like, that's
Now
cool.
it's time to fight.
Yeah, sometimes there are villains in you know, sometimes not every FGC player is an upstanding dude.
What? That's crazy. I thought everybody in the
Not
fighting games
the
were...
talent and the there is, you know, it is not a one-to-one correlation. You would be surprised. There are some villains out there. However, if you're like, if we're talking to the person that's just picking to fucking have some fun, and you're getting on their case over what they're picking or whatever, and this is like the least, you know what I mean? This is just a very like not competitive circumstance or environment. What the fuck are you doing? Shut up. Let's have fun. You know?
I can't wait to play Street Fighter with my son and him being like, "Oh, can I win?" And me just go, "No."
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you pick 12? You know 12 sucks.
And so the other right. And so the other part of this is I can only imagine that like the experience of, let's say, a fucking Warzone lobby, right?
Yeah.
Is like you jump in, and if you're on a team or you're grabbing the wrong loadout, or you know what I mean? You're or back in the day, the noob tubes or whatever the fuck it is.
Bro.
And
like the grand innovation of the battle royale is that it lets like 60 or 70% of players in a 100 person match feel like they won to some degree.
Okay.
Like that is like the genius of battle royale, is that like it disseminates the feeling of winning across a huge variety of players.
So there's that part of it, and then I guess there's the part of it where it's like from the jump you are meant to internalize and get used to the level of toxic bile that will always be there, and just learn to float on it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you sort of have to do in those situations. I mean, you know, in a situation like this, what we're describing, where it's not half the lobby going nuts over what you're doing or what weapon you're picking or how you're playing or whatever the normal case is, but it's one asshole in the room who you can tell to fuck off. It's pretty easy to solve that problem, you know?
Man, I've never heard or seen anyone speak in a battle royale game, but I can feel their toxic vibes through the screen with their soul just permeate. Like you could fucking feel it. Similarly, I've never spoken with my voice to somebody in League of Legends, and even if they're not typing, you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel they're just like sewage just radiating off their body.
Yeah, I mean, rage quitting, and there's like, you know, griefers and shit that you encounter online and when you go on playing fighting games online and stuff. But if we're talking about a situation where you're like, yeah, you're gonna be in a lobby where a bunch of people are just gonna call you the worst things on planet Earth every time you log in, and it's like, you just ignore that and you play regardless. But then enough people will win that you'll feel good about the outcomes, and it won't really matter that much in the end. You know, it's like, you have to deaden something a little bit inside there, I guess. You know,
you've played a bunch of multiplayer games over your life.
A couple, you know.
What do you? This is kind of a granular, like focused in question. What group of players do you feel are the angriest you've ever played with, like in a game? Like Marvel people or Mortal Kombat people or Halo, or like just like you can feel just white hot rage coming off them, even if they don't speak, like just moving their character. You're just like, for me, it has to be Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is like the angriest I've ever seen players move around an environment, even though I can't hear them. Even though it's crazy.
I think the most toxicity I've ever felt in a public sort of open situation, because I really haven't put myself in that type of situation often. Maybe Overwatch 1.
Oh yeah.
Overwatch
dude.
original was
Get off my pick.
Absolutely. Because I got used to playing it with the Black Gift folks and had some good times playing with the group. And then a couple times I'd be like, damn, I need to work on my aim. I got to get better. And so let me just queue up when other people are not around. So I did some solo queuing. And I think Overwatch original is where it felt the worst. Yeah.
That was so toxic, man.
No,
it was
literally every single game.
Every single game, every single person. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
Without fail. But at the same time, I mean, again, I didn't jump into a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, back in the 360 era. Like, I've heard tale. I've heard legends,
I think what like really ups it for Dead by Daylight is that it's 4v1, right? And then you can only speak at the very end. You can only speak, after the match is over. And like sometimes people are mad at you. It's like I primarily play killer, right? And people say, "Oh, you fucking asshole, you tunneled me," which means like following one person consistently. But like more often than not, it would be like the team of survivors just throwing blame on each other for losing. Just crabs eating themselves in the bucket, which it's mad.
Like the people who are talking shit to you from the opposing team, is one. That's one layer of just like, all right, man, whatever you have to do to get through your day. But the ones who are on your team who are just like, holy fuck, I can't believe this Zarya is so garbage. Why? Like, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, just whew. Oh yeah, I'm trying to shield properly. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's only so much labbing I can do on my own before I have to take it into a live environment and get some real practice in, guys.
I will say League of Legends and Dead by Daylight are the only games I've played in which people will take their ball and just sit at home. Or like they will get so mad at what's going on and they will get so like unwilling to quit because they don't want the rage penalties that they will just idle their character in like a dangerous spot. And that's where feeding comes from.
Oh, right. Feeding. I'm going to feed if you don't fucking...
I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to just feed the fucking other team.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to just run straight towards the killer and just have them take me out of the fucking game right now.
So this brings us to today, where I don't know if this is actually the case or not, but if you were to tell me on paper that there is going to be a team-based, multiple people connect together and play footy, soccer, online together, I would say that Rematch by Slowclap has the potential to be the most toxic possible environment on planet Earth, just by nature of what the activity is and how many people are on it. But I don't know if that's actually the case.
So here's the thing. As we all know, soccer/footy fans are very well-adjusted, sober people who don't cause trouble.
Totally not Asbos. None of them.
It would be expected for the people playing digital soccer/digital footy to be well behaved and sober. And I have been checking out the reviews for Rematch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is antisocial behavior not a thing that's used anymore? Is that old school? Is that okay? I am not aware. I am not aware. Excuse me.
And the reviews for Rematch are: this game is incredible. Only play it with a pre-made group. The fucking mouth-breathing idiots people that it will match you up to are so stupid. They will ruin your game.
Right.
They're awful.
Right. And I guess
the nature of playing pickup any game.
Okay.
Like in meat space.
Did you? So you jumped on?
No, I have not.
No. Okay. Because I need to know if there's an open mic lobby and I need to know if there are people yelling, and I need to know if you can understand what they're saying. And is it every language of all of the world?
I hope it.
Right? Are we hearing the strongest Italian cusses and the biggest, strongest Ingerlands and all of the Germans and all of the Brazilians going full speed at each other? Right? Because I kind of imagine that game has the potential. It's a fucking soccer game where you only control your one player. You know? That can get infinite toxicity going.
People are saying, yeah, that you can open your mic and hear people from other countries.
Okay, so you can get hit with Caralho in one ear and Sikya in the other.
Good.
At the same time from both sides, and you're on the same team.
I'm thinking maybe if soccer wasn't so boring, people wouldn't get so drunk watching it, because they'd actually get to be excited.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, you know, you get used to 0-0, I guess. And you know, you get used to things.
Wow, you really gave it your all out there, boys. 0. Good job.
The pitch is large, you know. And we gotta sell these non-injuries. Anyways, okay, well, beyond all that, played a little bit of that Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact game, and
yeah.
Anyway, there's a bunch of new tag fighters coming, and that's going to be crazy, and we'll talk about those in a minute. Boy, wow, so many choices, so many games. There's a lot of those games
now. Just like all of a sudden, just bam.
Yep.
I feel bad because everyone was like, it's gonna be us, there's no one to compete against us. Yeah,
that Hunter x Hunter game, I think, is in trouble, man. I think
yeah, dude,
it's in trouble. I don't know. The rollback is going to be a nice offering, but Aiding is a company that works hard and makes good fighting games. You know, they deserve a dub, but bad timing and, like, you know, not enough resources to give this the polish and love it needs. I think it's you know, we'll see.
I can't believe you're even bringing it up at all.
Yeah, well, you know, just to say,
Marvel Tokon season.
I mean, we're gonna get into a couple more, but anyways, this week we're gonna jump back on Expedition 33. Gonna get, excuse me, I think at least one session in, perhaps 2, depends, but like I'll post a schedule. Gonna be a little bit reduced, and I'll announce other stuff a little bit later. But yeah, stay tuned to Woolly Wolves on my socials for the schedule. By the way, do you like pho?
It's all right.
New pho place.
I'm not like, if people are like, you want to go out for pho, I'll be like, yeah, let's get some pho. But I'm not gonna sit here and go, oh man.
Okay. Because there's a new pho place that opened up called Pho en Vue, which is right down by like Atwater, you know, and it's pretty good soup. I mean, you know, Reggie recommended it, and like after going, it was quite tasty. But like looking at the menu, there was like the item was like the pho bowl that had a giant like bone broth rib of meat in it, and it was like, oh, that looks incredible. Can I get one of those? And they're like, man, there's like 10 of these things every day in the morning, and you gotta be here when we open if you want one.
I see.
And you're like, you gotta line up to get
dog
at there, you know what I'm like?
And you know what? That line makes it taste better, I bet.
Oh, I'm like, I don't.
The anticipation.
Wake up in the morning pre-order line for the soup, dude. That's,
dog.
Oh man, soup Nazi style.
You're talking about that like that's new. That's a regular thing everywhere.
I know, and like depending on how hungry I am, I'll do the line in the middle of the day or whatever. There's some great places around that I'm lining up regularly for sure. But like the wake up in the morning line is an extra variable there. That's an extra layer of like, I don't know that I want my stomach full with pho first thing, you know, crack at dawn. But
that means you don't deserve it.
But that's it, man. But this is the only way to consume it, because you can, if you buy it and wait till you actually feel like fall later in the day,
Fuck
that ain't fresh anymore, right?
Yeah,
so
fuck that shit.
you can only eat the best flavor version of this thing right in the morning when it's available. I'm like, this is, there's a conflict here, unfortunately. Anyway, it's good shit though. Faux en Vue was solid. If you're in Montreal, go check it out. Solid stuff. What's going on?
I played some games, but before that, I would like to read a very small Reddit thread that showed up on our subreddit the other day, about 13 days ago. Forgot to talk about it last week.
Are you sure? Are you sure Are you sure you want to read a Reddit thread?
Oh, I'm extraordinarily sure, because I want you to weigh in on this. There was a thread made by one of Violet Myers who says, I made up a fake son to get out of work early, and now every time someone asks me about him, I just tell him a story Pat told on the podcast. Now what do I do? And he goes on in the thread that the next day people were asking him lots of questions about his child.
What you do is you cue the fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm music, because Jesus Christ, did you pick the worst possible out for the oh my god. Okay, I never mind that like story. In a way, it's almost like, what else in your life did you choose as a solution to problems that were so minor that you decided to go nuclear on the outcome without thinking 2 minutes into the future?
Hold that thought. Someone in the comments responds, slowly switch from Pat's story about his son to Pat's stories about Zangief and Caboose. Adopt a dog and then reveal that you were talking about the dog the whole time, right? Because you say, oh, my son, right?
My son, my internet son.
OP replies, okay, so here's the thing. I'm a compulsive liar, and I've already started to tell stories about my made-up dog with 2 broken legs.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
They go on,
yeah,
and basically people are like, you're gonna have to get a new job because this is gonna blow up in your face. And they say, I think that's my only choice, but the economy sucks. I don't know if I can get a new job like this one. And that's the last thing they ever posted on Reddit.
Okay.
I go to their account. That's the last thing that I've ever seen.
No, so well, what we have, like, stop all advice, because like once you say, yeah, the problem is actually I'm a compulsive liar, it's like, oh, life is going to be difficult. Like everything, whatever solutions you can find, need to be things that you can apply to every other facet of your life socially as things continue to blow up around you, because when people discover you're lying, they're going to go, well, that's super weird, and everything that cascades from it will happen continuously. Oh, so no.
Okay, so listen. Everybody has 4 grandparents that can pass away when you need a day off, right? That everybody, you just cycle through and you keep track, right?
If you keep track.
Inventing a fake child, you know what? I can respect that. You grab a stock photo off the internet that kind of looks like you.
Sure.
And you just have to make sure that you never, ever, ever intend to ever hang out with these people outside of work ever again.
I mean, also you can go through the holiday Rolodex and be like, yeah, sorry, it's Sukkot coming up, and my mom was half Jewish, so I got to go that way. Or you got something else. You select as you need to,
absolutely.
Right?
And you can be like, oh, the wife, I'm sorry, my ex-wife, custody, I never get to see them, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. You do all sorts of shit, right? When you have invented a fake dog with a wildly specific disability that people are gonna, somebody pointed out in the thread, the fake dog is gonna fuck you up really bad. because every dog owner carries around 100 photos of their dog, especially their disabled dog.
Yeah, okay.
That's where you're flying way too close to the sun, because people are going to want to see photos and videos of your fucking dog with broken legs, dude.
Oh, is that flying too close to the sun, and not the part where anyone who might happen to listen to this podcast would immediately expose?
Nobody listens to this podcast.
Nobody listens. That was trick question. Listen, like actually though, especially because you're just grabbing everything from one source and pretending it's your life, you need to just tell everyone, hey, sorry, I'm a compulsive liar. It's weird. I apologize. It's a thing. No,
you can't do that.
You gotta just go. If it's not gonna cost you your job, you gotta just come clean. You gotta come clean.
Wooly, you're crazy.
No,
you're insane.
This will go down. The hole will dig forever and ever and ever. Right.
And now it is your burden to dig it. It's too late. It's too late.
What are the stakes? Is it just that people will think you're weird, or will it actually cost you the job?
So I've given you all the information present in that thread. But if you are Wooly, if you work somewhere and someone comes to you and goes like, by the way, I've been faking a fake family, a fake dog, and you know what? Fuck it. I've been faking my cancer diagnosis too. Let's just throw that one
hold
there.
on. Am I lying about being a compulsive liar? Or is that real? Because if that's real,
you've gone too far. Because even if you don't get fired, like they'll make you leave. The only thing you can do is lie more.
It depends on the job, I guess, right? Some places it's like, okay, whatever. There's a bunch of people here. You might get socially weird, but it's not going to be a huge impact. Or if you're in a small office where everything's a super tight family and such, then that might have a larger impact. So yeah, I don't know if the situation calls for it, but I feel like this is a corner, and this is delaying problems that you're going to have to face them. And there are a lot of people I know whose only means of dealing with anxieties and stresses are to kick the can down the road and
I've known a couple of those.
Indefinitely kick the cans, and it's just like, you can't do that. Or you can, but then you can't be surprised when it explodes. You can't be.
So yeah, no, every person I've ever known that kicks the can down the road every time is always like fucking astonished when it blows up in their face, and you're always just like, this was obviously.
Oh my goodness! Like wow! It's the consequences of my own actions. Now
that being said, Wooly, no one ever got out of compulsive lying by telling the truth. It's too late. Once you've already compulsively lied enough, there's no saving you. So what I suggest, person who is probably listening to this podcast, because they're stealing bits and pieces of my life for their own benefit, I have a piece of advice for you. There's only one way to come back off this compulsive lying, because you're going to get caught, and that is to lie more. Specifically, be honest that you're a compulsive liar, but say that you're a compulsive liar to cover up your fake substance abuse problem, which you will then get over, thus resetting you to zero.
Is it good
advice? You're a drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever, but you're getting help. And you're going down the steps and you're trying to do better, and you're sorry about that. You were just making those stories up because you were actually strung out and you're embarrassed.
Is it good advice? No. Is it funnier? Yes. Damn. Tough choice here. You're telling me that's not going to cost him his job? You're telling me that the fucking truth is the problem, but saying that I'm a strung out drug addict as the real truth is not? You're saying an actual substance abuse problem is not going to cost him his job while the truth might? What the fuck are we talking about?
Well, so no, you're blowing it up, because what I'm trying to engineer here is I'm trying to engineer the issue in which this guy lies about being a drug addict to get out of the trouble for being a liar, and then aces a drug test in which they're like, aren't you supposed to be a drug addict? And he goes, yeah, I just do shit. and then
Assuming they
has to
give him
cheese
a,
it.
if you're gonna get fired for being a liar, just weirding the vibe, there's not gonna be a test over you being an addict or something like that. That's even more severe on how they'll treat you. Any place that's cool with you being an addict will probably not fire you for being a liar.
You know what, Wooly? You're right. I will addend. I will addend my solution to this person. This is who's this? Violet Myers. There is a solution. In order to sell the fact that you are an addict and that's why you're a compulsive liar, you should consider becoming addicted to alcohol temporarily
Temporarily.
so that you can beat it.
Okay, and then you have a victory story.
And then you'll have your coin. You'll have your sobriety coin that you can get from Alcoholics Anonymous. And then
Pat,
you can be like, "Hey, I'm better now."
Pat, this soul, the outcome of this soul is actually on you. Because you now have to tell stories about your life, knowing that they will be X-copied into the water cooler office discussion tomorrow.
So good.
And you have to choose the correct stories for this person.
Oh man.
You can correct the narrative, but it's all on you now. They don't have a choice in the matter. They're just gonna spout whatever you say.
Hey,
tell your stories responsibly.
I gotta respond to a comment that I just saw, which is like, "Oh man, Pat's kid is so fucked for advice." No, listen. This is not the advice I would give my child. This is the advice I gives guy who steals my life story and dog story so that he can skip work, bro. I have no loyalty here to have good advice.
The thing, but it's not like if it was just to skip work. Like, we're talking about you're lying about why you're calling out, and that's an issue that your boss is going to get on your ass about or whatever if they find that there's a consequence to your lie, right? You have lied for a purpose. But if you've already sowed the seeds of lying about your dog for no reason, but simply to do so.
So actually that becomes like that. I remember talking to Paige about this. I'm like, talking about the disabled dog part. That's the part that will, because if people are like, listen, Wooly, you're working at the office, like you're working back in QA, and some guy invents a fake kid to get out of work, right?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
I worked with a few fucking egregious.
Right, but like, let's say I have a fake son that I use to get out of work things. Like, I don't know about you, but I'd be like, it's pretty funny. Like, you got him. I wouldn't feel any ill will or animosity, but like, well, everybody's got their hustle, right? But the fake dog is specifically to engender like an emotional response from coworkers.
100%.
So now you're manipulating me. That will cause hatred. Anybody who finds out that you don't have a dog with broken legs is going to hate you. Because you manipulated them
for nothing,
for kudos,
for absolutely nothing, 100%. And I mean, look, there's the variance on this that I'm already familiar with. I know there's the guy who it's not lying about having a kid and going that far with it for whatever those excuses are. It's more like you're a deadbeat that's not in their life, but they do exist, and you can prove it via photo if need be.
I've met a bunch of those people.
So you just milk that aspect of it instead, right?
Oh yeah, life custody is so rough. And then you run into them, and you're like, I try to get him to spend time with the kids all the time, and he doesn't give a shit.
You haven't seen them in a year. What are you talking about? Like, I
miss them so much.
That's a real person, 100. But like, if you're already not lying for gain, but just to get
to do it.
Oh, you're in deep. Oh man. No, and if you have the awareness to already know you're a compulsive liar and like identify that part, like, kudos, that's a first step of recognition. But man, there's a lot of pillars around besides this job that must also be on fire and collapsing, and you need some solutions for getting ready for that in your life. I
gotta say, it's actually kind of sad because like you and I knew a guy who had it the worst I've ever seen in my life. And I like, but like it's like sad because it's like every single thing, every detail, every event, every story, every all of it It's like, don't you lose your sense of self after a certain little while?
Well, it's just more like this is I always talk about how much I love Shutter Island, the movie, because
Yeah.
it's a really good movie. But I'm like, isn't there a point where like you crash into reality and like something has to break? Like, what happens when you say something and as you're saying it right in front of you, it's like reality is the opposite and everyone's
Reality is
watching it
lying
happen.
to me.
Like, what then? I need to know, because how do you function? How did you get this far? It's crazy. And it turns out in a lot of cases everyone just kind of politely goes, yeah, okay, and just kind of dips that way, you
Yeah.
know. Anyway, that's a rough one. There's no easy answers there,
Uh,
you know.
I wish there was an L in there. Violet Myers, please post an update. I am so riveted. Now, of course, there's the possibility that this thread
Of
is
course.
in of itself a
Of
compulsive
course.
lie,
Of
but
course.
it's a good one
Sure.
if it is.
Well, the good news is I have the update.
Yeah.
What else happened with your week?
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay. Mm. Baby's great. He's the best little guy. We're at the stage. Hey, Myers, are you listening? He's at the stage where he's now full on milk please
Mm-hmm.
and coloring please and
Okay.
just like full on please and thank yous. And today I got hit with please milk please, which
Oh.
yeah, all right, okay,
Uh-oh. Well,
it's getting through.
okay, hold on. You froze on a really funny frame. Now you're
Oh,
back.
always
All
good. That's
right.
great.
Damn, I wanted to screen. All
Um,
right, there we go.
got that pro-social behavior. It's feeling good. But that's it on baby news. Sorry, man, don't have a crazy story for you this week.
Please and thank
Not you,
yous.
Wooly. I
Uh,
mean Myers.
right. Okay. Yes.
I played a couple games. The only real one I really want to talk about at length is The Altars.
Okay.
So I got this game for free. They sent me a code. Um, so you probably saw like maybe a 30-second 1 minute trailer of The Altars during one of the game shows and probably didn't pay it all that much mind because the trailer wasn't very good.
No, but I do remember a bunch of clearly what looked like mocapped or facial captured people that looked like real people.
So The Altars is fantastic, and it is a really fascinating like sci-fi premise that it works very, very strongly, and everything kind of forms like this really nice cohesive whole of like just everything works together and gels together really well because the game has a lot of disparate elements. So the long and short of it is that you are playing Jan, what was it, Jan Dolsky, and you are out in the far reaches of space doing space working man shit on some shithole planet. And everyone but you dies, and the sun rising on this planet will incinerate you. So you have to move your base, but
Okay.
you're only one man. You can't possibly, and you have no real skills. So you have to find more people to crew your base. So corporate tells you to just start branching yourself. And the purpose of branching is that you look over the entire history of Yan's life and you look over all the major decisions, which are all written out, and how he felt about all of them. Things like turning a blind eye to crime in his neighborhood when he was like 14, to leaving home to go to college and not being home in time to help his mom pass away, or what job he got after college and whether or not that led to stresses in his marriage and stuff like that. And you get to pick one of those and go, what if I did the other thing? And then you get a completely new life path with all of the events written down and narrated. And at the end of that life
Interesting.
path, you have the different version of yourself that would have gone on the mission. And then you take that parallel possibility and you clone it into a person. and bring them online in your base. And they go,
Interesting.
what am I doing here? How did I get here? And the part that really sells it is the back and forth dialogue with
Yeah,
dialogue choices
yeah,
of you explaining what you have actually done to them and the
yeah.
scenario you have put them in.
Whoa. That's a wild premise.
Because some of them come out going, oh, why do you look like me? And getting super pissed off that they've been ripped from their possibility quantum
Yeah,
other life,
yeah, yeah.
be dragged
So,
in.
I mean, I'm thinking of like there's like multiple men, and then like in Invincible you have like the Mauler twins, but like that's a pretty fucking cool premise right off the bat. Now the genre is survival. It says.
The genre it has many genre.
Okay.
So your primary gameplay is going to be wandering around a hostile environment and mining resources, putting down mining expedition, like and then like connecting mining outposts to the base with like survey poles, like kind of like a base building, like very satisfactory light, right? But it
Hmm.
also involves like exploring and checking, like dealing with like stalker type, like spatial anomalies, that kind of thing, right? But as you're doing that, your base needs constant maintenance and you need people to make things, you need to grow food,
Okay.
and your alters all have different likes and dislikes and things that they actually want. So like technician alter, so they become you're Jan Dolsky, and they all become Jan and then their title, which is Jan technician or Jan doctor or Jan scientist. And they all want different things. So like one of the first things that happens is Jan technician is like, hey, I'm eating mush and I don't have a bed. And I'm fucking mad about it. I'm not gonna repair shit here until I have a bed, I have food.
Hmm.
So then it becomes about managing the resources in order to build a dormitory and
Yeah.
build a greenhouse.
So
But now that I have a greenhouse, I need somebody to staff that greenhouse. So I need to get Jan Botanist. And Jan Botanist doesn't like being alive on the ship at all. They hate it
mm,
and resent
that
you for their creation.
yeah, that is a way more interesting take on multiverse versions of characters, because we've seen a lot of, obviously, with recent movies and stuff, like open up a portal, here comes another version of you, yada yada. But the actual, like, no, there never was that alternate version, it was just
No, this
simulated
is
and
just the
birthed,
me that could have been.
is fucking, that's really compelling. Okay,
And you
but
have to, like, they have a variety of different types of questions, and one of them is like, well, where's my wife? And you're like, you have the options
yeah,
of like, she's at home on Earth, safe and sound,
yeah, yeah,
or your wife
yeah.
never existed.
Yeah, right. And then how that affects things. Okay, that premise is so strong that like I'm almost a little bummed about it being by that genre you're mentioning, in the sense that I
Yeah.
guess like so most of what you're doing is base building, survival, exploration, resource management.
No, it's split down the middle.
Because I
You're
want
managing
full
them.
narrative of what you just described. That sounds really,
No,
really
because
cool.
the narrative, you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're
Hmm.
exploring, you're managing resources, you're trying to find the resources you need, then you're going back to the base to actually manage those into like the materials that you need. But the materials you need are often the things these guys are asking for. And then you'll be out exploring and you'll find like you'll find a rubber ducky that
Yep.
came crashing down with your luggage. And you don't have any strong feelings towards the rubber ducky at all. But scientist Yawn tells you about how the rubber ducky is who he would read his thesis to on various drafts in the version of him that
Hmm.
existed in his perspective.
So the
And he starts to lament that he wishes you could have technologies that he invented on the ship, but they're from a quantum timeline that
that
didn't
doesn't
exist, and that
exist.
technology doesn't even exist, and
Yes.
that technology has never existed.
Yeah.
And that opens up research trees to have him recreate his old technology.
That was from elsewhere, right? No, that's super interesting. And I guess so the process of like doing these management tasks leads to your next story bits and
Yeah. And so
such.
like the best example is the one I already used, which is like, okay,
Hmm.
Technician Yon wants food. Okay, I have mush made out of organics. That's not really food. How do I get a cooked meal? I get a cooked meal by making raw food in the greenhouse. Okay, I've made the greenhouse. I don't have anyone to staff the greenhouse. So what do? I go back into my quantum computer and I look at the timeline of my life, and that moment where my wife wanted to leave town to get a bigger job and a better job, and I
Hmm.
said, "No, I'm going to keep my job." And then I lost my job in the economic collapse. This time, we're going to go with her and she's going to make senior partner at that law firm, and I am not going to lose my job, and we're going to be fine, and I'm going to stay at home gardening all day, and I will become Jan the botanist.
Okay, you have to.
And so you're pulling house husband out of a potential reality to make raw food for you on this shithole space station that he doesn't want to be on.
You have to find the version that that has a skill relevant to your need based on your life's decisions, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay.
every
Yeah.
branch gives you the full life story of that version
Awesome.
of yourself.
Awesome.
And the
And,
most interesting part of that is that so you have your primary branch, which is just Jan Dolsky. And then, I branched about leaving home or going to college, right? That's how you get technician Jan, right?
mhm.
But it's not all branching off of the primary path. There are branches off of technician Jan's life.
Oh shit!
There are branches off of Dr. Jan's life.
Forks. You're describing forks now. Okay, because
So,
like if we're using like game build technology where you're like you make a branch to this project, you fork at a point and have a completely separate thing that goes down its own pathway. That's wild.
So it becomes, okay, what if I stayed in university and didn't take that corporate job? And then later it's, what if I fucking caved in my morals and faked some results or not?
Yeah. No, this is insanely interesting. Also, I think this is the fastest that the technology has been inherently fucking evil from the jump. There is no there's no version of this that is ethical.
With your altar is wildly depressing and very aggressive, and it is very clear that you have crossed a line that you should maybe not have crossed, and it is very bad.
Immediately,
is a bad technology.
Yeah, you cannot make this ethical in any way, shape, or form.
It's bad technology.
Even if it was making you yourself over and over again, you know? Holy shit. Okay.
And this is one of those things where you were like, the genre is kind of a bummer to you because you're not big on survival. It is constantly going back and forth, informing each one about like your gameplay decisions into the narrative decisions. And by far the most interesting thing about the game's gameplay versus its narrative is that technician Jan repairs the base 50% faster. Botanist Jan grows food in the greenhouse 100% faster. You know, these types of buffs. Scientist Jan is the only one that can unlock research on your base. Stuff like that, right? Jan Dolsky, the player you actually control outside of the base, is the only person with no buffs. This means that the real Jan Dolsky is the worst version of himself across all potential realities. He is the only one who doesn't know how to do anything any better than anyone ever. He's the worst. He is the worst version of himself, and he's the one in charge of making new versions of himself.
I imagine, well, I'd say hit credits and see what happens there, you know, but that's an interesting premise, is like you need to start with vanilla ass tofu to start.
Yeah, the other thing is like you're dealing with, you're calling corporate, and corporate is the slimiest pieces of motherfucking assholes ever. And you get to argue with corporate for like long periods. And one of the most interesting questions you get to ask the head of mining is, what's going to happen to these guys when we go back to Earth?
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Like,
and he goes, I don't know. This is a brand new thing. I have no idea, actually.
Yeah, like I'm not even asking the questions like, oh, what's the expiration date, or what's the limitation, or you know, like, duh. Yeah, no, obviously we know how this goes, you know. That can go a lot of places. That's interesting, but definitely that is the most like, yeah, refreshing take on multiverse type shit.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. It's super, super cool. I kind of love it. It's weird that it came out so recently because it is like, I don't know if you've seen any footage of it. It's like it looks just like Death Stranding.
Yeah, I know. I've
Like
seen a bit there.
the blasted nightmare landscape and the backpacking man hoofing it through that shit. It looks like Death Stranding.
Yeah. Also,
Uh,
like, there's something cool about the genre that is just like abandoned astronaut. Whether it's like Moon or the shoot the
the Martian.
well, the Martian, but I was also gonna say the game with the fucking generating god damn it, brain is soft. Whatever. Anyway, a Returnal.
Returnal, yeah. You know what? It feels like if I actually said this verbatim when I was playing it. This game feels like it has the gravitas of the story that Returnal thought it did.
Okay. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. And I mean, there's a couple of movies and shows and things that have been coming out that also feel like we cross into a little of this territory. So, yeah, fun stuff. Fucking
Yeah, it has a lot of Soma vibes on it because
sure.
you're like, you're basically running through a conversation of a day of like, so am I real? And you're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
1,000 times resist, folks saying good things about Severance. I mean, fucking there's a lot of things get going in this place. But yeah, that's a fun, cool idea. All right, The Alters is what it's called.
Yeah, The Alters. It's really cool. It's super rad. I'm gonna go back to it next week, but this week is all Death Stranding all the time. I'm actually going to be streaming Death Stranding today at twitch.tv/PatStairs at about 4 p.m. Pacific. That's in 2 hours if you're listening to it live.
Okay, it actually comes out on what, Thursday? Is it?
So here's the thing about Death Stranding that's so confusing to me. One is the story, but the second thing is this is a real show off of how much older I've gotten in that the Death Stranding like literally snuck up on me. And I would look online. I'm like, when's the release date? Oh, it's the 26th. Like, okay, so I marked in my calendar. Okay, good. And then I find out that if you buy the special boy edition for $10 extra, the game actually came out last night at 9:00. Right,
early release.
And I was like, you know what? That's fine. That's totally fine. I'll just wait for it. And then Ludi. One Ludwig Forsell was like, yo, Pat, I got that code you asked for. And he sent me the email from SIE that was like, here's your Death Stranding code. You can stream it right now. I'm like, okay, well, the schedule's changing now.
Fuck it. Yeah.
So now it's Death Stranding time now. Thanks, Ludi. I love you, buddy. And Ludwig will be joining me tomorrow. Tomorrow evening as a guest. We're going to talk about Death Stranding as we play Death Stranding.
Hell yeah. Let's
look forward to that.
I can't wait.
It's really funny when he sent me that email because so composing is like a big boy job. Like that is a genuine like intelligent professional career in the arts. Right. And so you're like, oh, it's this big boy composer here talking to me and I'm just some dirtbag streamer shithead. Right. And then he sends me the email that has the embargo details on it. I'm like, bro, you sent me it. This thing has no embargo. And he's just like, I don't know. I don't understand those forms.
Great.
Like you deal with that stuff all the time. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that says.
Can you ask him a question for me?
Yeah, sure.
Ask him when he's on how he feels about Lorient Testard, the Expedition 33. Just
I can tell you right now.
The out of nowhere fucking first project
I can tell
ever.
you right now. He was in some of the streams I did for Expedition.
Hell yeah. Okay.
And he's like, this shit is great. He there was something more specific he said, something about the I forget what it was, and I don't want to misquote him, right? But the amount of music that Lorient put out had like it feels like he was just given free reign or like a lack of version control or something to just go nuts and make as much music as he wanted.
Okay, so what I discovered is that he had been besides this obscure forum where the SoundCloud posting stuff happened,
like a Claire obscure fucking. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
prior to that, when Lorient found the post for this project, he was working on for his just for the fuck of it, he was making a song per week, and in 1 year he made 50 tracks.
Come on,
right. So he put just a self-imposed 7 days to make a full song pressure on himself and did it for a straight year and created this incredible fucking library, and then that's what Guillaume saw, you know. So like, yeah, the ability to make that level of soundtrack where he's got like 150 tracks or whatever, you're just like, he's already done this. He's like,
apparently it's like over 300 tracks.
It's insane. It's insane, and they're so fucking good. Yeah. Anyway, so I just want to hear Ludwig just like fucking go on about that crazy shit for a minute. Cool. That's awesome.
That's pretty much it for me. I'm gonna be so I'm gonna be you know, trucking and walking. I plan on having the single most accurate and real to life Death Stranding stream of anyone to ever exist, as I am a relatively new dad.
Yep.
Lou in that game looks about almost the age of my guy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I will be, to my knowledge anyway, the only one streaming Death Stranding with a baby strapped to my chest the entire time.
There is that.
Now, granted, the baby will be my my disabled pug Caboose here.
Yes.
Is he joining us for today's podcast? Give me a kiss.
Not floating in the liquid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is,
although not
this pouch is kind of like my uterus, my womb.
Although Lou's actually out now, so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, he's out too. So look at him, his little baby. Now, this dog is real. So, Myers, if you want to tell people to check out your Death Stranding 2 streams where you strap your dog to your chest, I highly suggest you don't give them the link, because that'll just blow up in your face.
Who the fuck is Myers again? Is
this that the name? The Reddit thread, bro.
Was it? What was it? Violet
Myers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. And then I guess whenever you play Pragmata, you can like find a way to do it with like over the shoulder instead.
Yeah. That'd be tough. This dog, you know what?
That kid is fucking Mega Man, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega Man's cool.
That kid is Mega Man. There's a Buster arm.
Watch that kid. She just puts like a Mega Man helmet on at the end and goes Dr. Wowie.
There's E-tanks. Like there's fucking it's, you know, come on. Anyway.
Immediately Dr. Wowie. But yeah, that's pretty much that's all that's going on with me. I'll talk to you about Death Stranding next week. Probably a little bit.
Okay. I can't wait to understand none of it and simultaneously all of it.
So I don't think that's going to be a problem, because I don't think I'm even going to bother talking to you about the story next week, because that just seems like a fool's errand. I think the conversation we're going to have next week is you're going to be like, how do you like the story? And I'll be like, it's good. Spent the past 3 days building a highway to Mexico.
Sure did. Also, DNA's still a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's take a quick break.
Yeah, I need to piss. Let's do that, please.
BRB. Alrighty, quick word from our sponsors.
I love you, sponsor. I'd give you a big kiss. Mwah.
Let's pay some bills. Excuse me.
Part of me expected you to go, oh, never mind. We don't have any sponsors.
No, we've got a couple.
No sponsors.
Yes.
Sponsors are beloved by this show.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh. And, food. Food is good.
Good time for you in the incoming days and
100.
weeks to get on the HelloFresh bandwagon.
100%. Listen, I am about to enter a phase in which the last thing I want to do is spend time worrying about what I need to eat and whether I can get it done quickly and whether it tastes good or all that stuff. I want it to be out of sight, out of mind, and it's going to be.
Your mind is going to be preoccupied with other things.
Yes, and this is exactly the kind of thing that will take priority when a baby is babying all over my shirt and shoulders and the floor, etc. There will be a need to simplify the other things going on in your life, and so HelloFresh is definitely gonna come in handy. You got quick home-cooked meals that you can fit into your schedule, nice and easy, and they're curated recipes coming straight to your door. And that is the kind of solution that I can get behind. If you're talking about meals that are ready in 3 minutes, I can do that. That's a good amount of time. Heat and go HelloFresh meals are chef-crafted, flavorful dishes ready in 3 minutes. Ready to go for the summer. Healthy, homemade, quality, and delicious. In particular, I like the idea of being able to mix it up a little bit as well. There's whenever I see a recipe with like truffle in it, I get a little bit biased towards being like, yo, that's automatically good. And I see
that's for fancy people.
Yeah, I mean, not so much anymore. It's just like if you want an interesting flavor, that's pretty good. And then creamy Alfredo truffle cavatappi pasta. Let's go. I'm down. Yes, but the ability to also keep track of like if you're going protein, if you're going calorie conscious, if you're going keto or whatever your different preferences are, just general balanced as well. HelloFresh has got you covered with all their choices. Seasonal fresh produce, proteins that are fresh to your doorstep as well. You get the tech where you open up the box and it's all cold in there, and like they know how to keep it just like absolute, not frozen.
They use cool little ice packs.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
60 recipes every week to choose from. They've got prep and bake. They've got ready-made meals. They've got 100+ market items you can add on for breakfast, lunch, and more as well. So all the choices you could want as you're getting into the summer and or potentially a very busy phase of your life. So sign me up. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh.com for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/SuperBeast10FM. And that stands for 10 free meals. And
it's crazy.
You're going to get a free item for life as well. That's HelloFresh.com/SuperBeast10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box. HelloFresh.com/SuperBeast10FM. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. Thank you, HelloFresh.
Thanks, HelloFresh. I love you.
Appreciate you. This week, the podcast is sponsored by Turtle Beach, and that's just the high quality, good ass headphone that feels good on the ear. You got the soft, comforting material on it in particular. I love the memory foam ear cushions, because memory foam is like, you can get that on your bed to like, conform to the shapes and curves of your body, and it's very, very soft. And so the you get memory foam ear cushions as well, in particular, getting with your headphones that are like very soft and good feeling around the ear. This is with the Stealth 700 headset in particular. So be sure to, yeah, get on that Stealth 700 from Turtle Beach. You've, besides the comfort as well, you have the 3D spatial audio awareness. You got the ability to hear from all sides in detail. Um, I've mentioned it many a time, and I'll mention it again. The crossplay dual wireless transmitter system lets you connect to your consoles and PC or your phone, whatever multiple devices, and literally hear them both simultaneously with the volume like dipped to hear both. So if you can take a call and continue hearing your game, or you can continue hearing a podcast, or whatever the case is, while being connected to both devices, you can simultaneously hear from both devices, and it's incredible. It's the single sickest feature.
I don't know how they do that.
It's the sickest feature I've seen on a headset. Fantastic. So get in there with your Turtle Beach 700 Stealth 700. 80-hour battery life is insane. You basically like barely have to worry about the charge when you're lasting that long. And they're not just amazing headsets as well, but they've got tons of gaming accessories and they're at high quality prices, high quality accessories, but they're not at prices that are going to break the bank. So check them out. If you're looking for flight or racing simulator controllers, keyboards, mice, Turtle Beach has the ultimate for your gaming setup. So head to turtlebeach.com and use code CASTLE, and you're going to get 10% off your entire order. So that's 10% off your entire order at turtlebeach.com with the promo code CASTLE. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. So please support our show and tell them we sent you, and get the ultimate in immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. Legit, the most comfortable and like incredible featured headphones I've used. They're great. Thank you, Turtle Beach.
Thanks, Turtle Beach.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by boot.dev.
Boot.dev, help me. I don't know how to code, and I'm also dumb.
Great. Can you play games?
Yeah, you know it.
Well, you're good. Boot.dev is Boot.dev is the funnest way and probably most effective way to learn difficult things is by gamifying them. They've got you learning programming, learning how to code with their awesome site that's set up to basically play like an RPG. So as you go through the different levels, you have XP, you have challenges, you have quests and achievements. There's a global leaderboard as well. You can compete with other players as you go through and learn and put to practice everything that you're learning. In particular, if you're looking to learn Python, Go, JavaScript, Git, Linux courses, memory management in C, SQL databases, there's a ton of options for you. And according to Stack Overflow, the median salary for back-end developers in the U.S. in 2024 was over $100,000. So that's
not bad.
That ain't bad. That is a pretty decent profession. And I like to also point out that if you learn these skills, you can get your own creative ideas off the ground. We were talking and screaming earlier about the Cave Story and Toby Foxes of the world who just do it themselves. Like, one of the things you can do is get the hard part, which is programming, taken care of by learning it in a fun way. So and they go hard when they don't even need to as well. You have things like the raid bosses of every season that like you contribute to the story as you fight them together. 30-day no questions asked refund policy. And if you're trying to get in there and you're a student, you don't need to break the bank, so you can preview every interactive experience on every course. There's a free demo of all the lessons. You can go check it out before you dive in. So that's particularly useful as well. And a Discord community with tons of real human beings who can help you if you ever get stuck anywhere. So learning to code isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a curriculum that takes some time, around 12 months, and goes properly in-depth with both theory and practice. So you want to get in there and go in for the long haul. But if you ever get completely stuck, or you just want to see like how the instructor wrote the code, there are solutions available for every challenge on the site. check them out. It's a really cool way, and I definitely encourage the ability to like gamify the learning process. So you want to, head on over to boot.dev and try out the courses for free, and then you can use our code Castle Super Beast, and you'll get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. So one more time, that's boot.dev, and you get to try out all the courses for free, and you can use the code Castle Super Beast to get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. Thank you, boot.dev.
Thanks, boot.dev.
And this week, the show is sponsored by Mando.
Yo, what up?
Now, as a man who's got some dough around the edges,
Yeah, I got some flaps I didn't used to have.
You're gonna want to make sure that you keep your scent under control. Be aware of it. The last thing you want to be is unaware of the folds and the odors that might come out of them. It's a heat wave today, right now in Montreal. There is a heat wave currently unleashing. Yesterday, it got to its peak. Today, it's starting to break, but it's still kind of brutal out there. The worst conditions to be subjecting friends, family, and even your foes to. You know, whoever's around you, you never know. So, Mando in particular is coming in extra useful because you're not just masking odor, you're preventing it.
Preventing odor is better than masking odor. Just like you gotta prevent it.
100%. Every study participant experienced all-day odor protection. You know, they got people in lab coats doing the science to make sure that it's taken care of.
You know, it's good science when they're holding lab coats.
Clinicals.
Wait, holding lab coats?
Wearing lab coats.
Wearing lab coats.
We're talking, this is clinical strength deodorants, controlling both sweat and odor for 72 hours. And, you also have the ability to not just get the rollers and traditional style sticks, but you got the sweat control solid stick. It'll work, but you have the ability to go for my favorite, which is the cream tube deodorant, which you can apply liberally where you need to because it's in a tube form.
This whole area.
There's
this whole zone.
There are targeted zones that I want the cream to hit that the stick is not quite built to cover. But you got a lot of options to pick from. So it's the Mando starter pack, perfect for new customers. You're going to get that solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or deodorant wipes. Also, a nice handy thing to have, quick wipes that smell good, taking care of some of those grundles and undles and et ceteras. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers can get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code BEAST at shopmando.com, and you're going to get 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's shopmando.com. And you want to use the code BEAST for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Support our show. Tell them we sent you. They've got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to the sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. Man, pit stains are like one thing, but there are pit stains that don't have to be all around the pits. If you wear a fabric that is accentuating of the stains, there are outcomes that you need to be aware of. So get in there, be tactical about it. Thanks, Mando. All right, we got a couple things. Let's get into them right off the bat.
I'll tell you what, quickly, you saying flaps made me realize that the kid makes fun of me for flapping now. Because I farted and the kid laughed at me and I said, sorry, daddy's butt was flapping. And now every time I fucking fart, the kid runs around flapping his arms like a bird going flap, 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 flap.
Damn. Okay.
So be careful what you say.
I see. I'm a little more, I have a little more compassion about it. I'm a little graceful about the dropping the bombs. We've had this discussion before. I tend to be selective. I'll remove myself from the situation. I'll find an area where I'll do the least amount of harm.
Think that. Yeah, you are like that now, but then you'll have a 2-year-old and you'll be like, hey, bud, check this out.
No, because it is a sheathed sword.
Oh yeah,
it is sheathed, and I'm keeping it in its the hilt is strong, right? I will whip it out when the time is ready. When you want to go to war, you will feel this blade, and it does not return until it tastes blood. Okay.
What are you shitting your pants with blood?
I am saying that if you attack me with smells and odors and I drop a nuclear fart on your ass, it is gonna ruin your day. So
you're gonna shit your pants.
I am being kind. I am being kind by sparing the family from the violence. All right? I don't start the fart battle. I fucking end it. So until then, we're being nice.
Just if you have to do it, just fart into your shirt so it doesn't get everywhere.
I don't know how to go light. There is no little squeak, ha ha. Bombs.
This is terrible. I got more than I expected.
Well, you started.
I did. I literally did.
And just like that, I end it.
Yeah. All right. What do we got this week?
Surprise announcement. This was fucking unexpected and cool. Shout outs to ArcForged. The homies over there, good people working on some fighting games behind the scenes. They have Origin of Storms, an original fighting game they're working on. They made Sonic Smackdown, and then they got behind the scenes on Corrupt. They got behind the scenes on Head to Head, and now they've announced Sonic Smackdown, the update, Ultimate Sonic Smackdown. The free Sonic fighting game that basically is Marvel style. And the main difference here is a 3v3 update to the game.
Oh my god, another
brand
tag
new
fighter.
Yeah, new tag fighter coming out, entering the fucking fray, because there aren't enough of them. So, yeah, basically the Sonic Smackdown, we had a lot of fun with that, playing it over getting to fighting games a couple times, and it led to insane levels of pop-offs because you can Virgil with your shadow and do all kinds of nonsense dirt cross-ups. And Sega's cool with Sonic fan games, so they're way down to support and just or let that kind of thing rock. The announcement that there's a
new... how many characters does it have?
Perhaps more than 10.
That's fucking crazy. How could you put a fighting game out with more than 10 characters? That's impossible.
So in this tag slop era, ArcForge has entered the situation and went, yeah, we got one too, we've been working on. And I can confirm that, like, having played a bunch of Sonic Smackdown, it's fucking sick as hell. It's very fun. They know how to keep things like saucy and fast and crazy. So this is great. It's like, imagine if Sonic the Fighters was actually really fun and good,
I don't understand that even concept.
Right?
Man, that's ridiculous.
So yeah, no, go check them out for sure. Shout outs to ArcForged. And and I'm looking forward to whatever the other projects they got cooking. It's kind of like they're like the aiding or dimps of indie fighters, because there were a couple indie fighters that were kind of like, they had earlier builds. They were kind of like struggling a little bit more, and in some cases, you're not quite getting that the bones to feel just right. And then you get into the new build, and you're like, oh my god, there's a launcher into a dirty cross up into an OTG and a left right, and you're like, yeah, okay, I know who got behind the wheels of this. I see who took over here. So Ultimate Sonic Smackdown. Can't wait for that shit. And, again, I just like that Sega has a policy of being like, yeah, do what you want. Go nuts. That, of course, not being the only one, we also got an announcement. No video or trailer, but screenshots. 2v2 tag team fighting game, Saturday AM battle manga.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
Another one?
Another one has hit. It's kind of endless at this point.
Wow, the throne sat empty for too long.
Everyone had the same thought at the same time and said this summer this summer we're going for it. 100, like,
Jesus Christ.
right? At first, there were just, there was the North going for it, and then you had Casterly Rock, and now you've got some Targaryens, and you've got the Ironborn are marching, and like all the season 5 motherfuckers coming through. Everybody wants the throne, dude. It's nuts. And, I think if you had to, like, swear allegiance and bend the knee, most folks would look over at fucking Tokon and go, like, look at that fucking thing. There's no coming back,
Which there's a goddamn Arc System Works Direct this fucking week.
Exactly. And they're about to announce a new game as well.
What the fuck?
We don't know what it is, but assuming that they're not talking about Tokon, Daisuke has been working on another game.
Fucking Arc System Works versus Capcom. There you go.
And the thing is they're making money, right? If they had the ability to get Strive, support it this long, get an anime going, moving into the Marvel space, like ArcSys is fucking. They're building themselves up much bigger than they previously have before. So, getting into a new original thing that's from them or so, like, that's nuts. Also, I don't know that we've ever seen them like running 3-4 games simultaneously, with teams or so. Typically you kind of expect 2, and like, oh, is there something that Team Blue is working on? BlazBlue team's on this, we got this going over here with Team Red. ArcSys is fucking going big with it. Saturday AM is a comic publishing arm. And I didn't quite recognize any of the names listed here. It seems like it's kind of like an indie publisher, but there's a 2v2 tag fighter coming from, and like, and it's got cell shading and sure, let's see what they've got to add to the situation. So the tag flop is just getting started. Tag slop,
that's ridiculous. Hey, Willie, quickly before we go out, do you have the Monster Hunter Wilds thing on the docket this week?
No.
So Monster Hunter Wilds on Steam has hit overwhelmingly negative reviews.
Word.
And you want to know why? You want to have a hazardous guess, just a random guess?
I mean, did they update and fuck up some sort of balance or like micro?
Close.
Charging for G rank?
So you worked in QA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen if your game that already performs like complete shit updated and the performance got way worse?
Oh, go fuck yourself. That is.
And then they put out the guide that I just sent you, which is the manual steps they want players to go through to delete their shader cacher, which includes going to global settings and going into disk management settings in Windows.
Oh no. Can't hold on a minute though, but like when you gotta
Can't they just force a recompile?
That's what I'm saying. When you boot up Street Fighter,
they won't.
When you boot up Street Fighter and something changes, it just forces a recompile. Exactly.
No, the update they put out fucked up the shader cache bad enough that they are telling you to do it yourself.
Okay, so that something pushed live that shouldn't have gone live, basically.
And yeah, the game runs like way worse now, and it ran terrible before.
This should never happen. Oh man. And this is this one of those things where someone goes like, oh yeah, go to this INI file, delete this line, the whole thing runs fine.
You have to go into the shader cache folder and delete it manually, but the steps they give you include like using Windows disk cleanup and cleaning the shader cache from guys. The fucking fucking pile of shit. And here's the thing, someone in the chat was like, oh, when are they gonna put when are people gonna remove those reviews? It's like, most people don't know that this advice is ever gonna happen. Most people are just gonna go, the game runs like shit now, and it's always gonna run like shit now.
I mean, not on console. They have to
force the update. Yeah. They have to force the update.
If you're on console, probably not. But like, yeah, that sucks, man. Come on, guys.
Absolute buffoonery that the game with bad performance is getting way worse performance now.
And like, wasn't the Switch or original Switch thing, Rise, like also got grief over how fucking
Oh, it ran like shit. Yeah,
yeah. So
ran like ass.
return to your original form. Okay.
The last good performing Monster Hunter game was Monster Hunter 4U on the new 3DS.
Okay, beyond that, they dropped trailer for I don't, do you have any interest in Neverwinter Nights 2?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, the enhanced edition. I remember, so I didn't
You want
play.
to talk about games that run like shit? Man,
Yeah.
Neverwinter Nights 2 just ran like ass on everything. On everything.
So this is one of those games where I didn't play, but my brother did, and I remember watching him, going through it, and yeah, our computer was not the strongest, but this pushed it for sure.
No, it was made bad. Like the game was made bad. That's why it ran like shit. Also, that game's super cool, but like almost no one played it because like it hit at the weirdest time of modernizing 3D graphics with those third edition systems, and just like it's a mess.
Fortunately, this re-release or this enhanced release has cross-play co-op.
That's crazy.
That's really, really cool. And that's a great way to encourage, if anyone's picking this up anywhere, the ability to not have to worry about what platform you're on is great. I want to give that flowers every time I see cross-play.
Dude, it has partial controller support. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Anytime I see crossplay as a feature on things, I want to give some flowers out for that. That's fucking great. Encourage that shit everywhere, all the time. Coming out July 15th.
Cool.
Just don't. Who cares? Get it on whatever you want. Is just sweat off everyone's
Enjoy
fucking
smoother gameplay
brow.
with refined camera, polished mechanics, enhanced textures, full controller support with a new controller UI. Yeah, dog.
Pad play for this old ass.
Oh, that's so good for these old games.
Steam Deck.
Yeah. Thanks, Steam Deck.
NetEase announced a giant AAA, one of those. It's kind of interesting because this game is called Blood Message. Let me see here. Yeah, big cinematic trailer, and it's one of those games where like the trailer is for Blood Message. It's so cinematic that like I'm like, so when the camera's over the shoulder, but you're kind of just like, what genre are we going to land on here? Are we going to lean towards Souls? Are we going to go towards what kind of combat? Because it's all set piece cinematic moments, and like there's a brief moment where it looks like you're kind of doing whatchamacallit, For Honor style combat. You see a couple swings that are like over the shoulder, a little bit slow, and like a little bit of clunk to it, so it doesn't seem like it's necessarily full-on Souls or full-on Wukong or any of that stuff. But it just feels weird to watch like a lot of the the new sort of like these trailers that come out, and you're kind of like, I can't tell what genre of video game this is until we get
until it's in my hands.
Well, yeah, because you're like, you get 2 seconds of the person swinging, and where the camera is and the speed of the swing and how it hits the enemy might give you some information, but this might as well just be a full cutscene that we're watching type of thing. Hellblade is also comes to mind with like a little bit of a slower paced thing, but let's see what's up. China's got another action game coming out. No release date yet, and I think did I see box art for Lost Soul Aside? I think
maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, there's that, and then there's the the Silent Hill porn parody screenshot.
It is so crazy.
Return to Silent Hill.
Silent Hill resurgence stuff is to push this movie.
Is it? Is that the reason why?
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
And the first thing we see of it just looks like fucking god awful trash.
So a screenshot of the new Silent Hill movie was released, and it is Return to Silent Hill is the name of the film, and it's James and Maria, and the outfit and it's just what, like, again, people are calling it the porn parody screenshot because you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is so weird. The costume and the casting choices are super off. That wig is crazy, dude. Like, what are we doing with that wig? In theaters, January 23rd.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great.
So the previous two Silent Hill movies.
Dude, his jacket's like so bad. Like,
the previous two Silent Hill movies were all Harry.
No, Harry didn't exist.
Oh wait, we talked about this.
Harry was replaced with Rose because the writer thought that a man looking for his child was too feminine.
Okay, it's coming back. It's coming back. We had a discussion about it before. Yeah, okay. All right, well, that's crazy to do a really good remake of an old game in order to promote a really bad like film adaptation. That's nuts, dude. But I guess it stands to make a ton of money because they always do. Like a film, a version of anything can just sit there and you know, on streamers is the equivalent of like sales in Walmart, you know. Ever since we learned that like the fucking Street Fighter movie made infinite dollars for Capcom.
That's really funny.
You're like, yeah, the effort meant it was worth it, I guess. Anyway.
Well, the director of the movie who said that is directing Return to Silent Hill. So it wasn't the writer Roger Avery then it was Christoph Gans from Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Ah. And so wait, even like Silent Hill F and all these other things, like these new games that might be really good, like
absolutely, they're to push the movie.
Just fucking fluff on the side, crazy.
Because when they announced all these things, they announced the movie, and then they kept talking about the movie, and then they said also there's these games, and these games will help get excitement for the movie.
God, Konami.
Silent Hill is back in movie form.
I mean, you know, look, we're seeing this return effort that Konami's putting into like acknowledging their games again and stuff. And God bless, it's better than them being dead, you know. But like, it's still just that. God, it's always got to be fucking about. It's always about a fucking movie. It's always about something else, you know.
Here's the weird one. The one that makes me so confused. We have 6 seasons of a Castlevania TV show. We have Castlevania in Dead Cells. We have Castlevania in Vampire Survivors. We have Castlevania in Dead by Daylight. And you would expect me to say that was building up to a new Castlevania game, but it's not.
No.
We have re-releases of the Dominus collection. We have re-releases of Portrait of Ruin. We have re-release. There's a re-release of fucking Lords of Shadow right now.
But
no games.
How are they supposed to troll your reactions to a Bloodstained game live on stream? If they actually release a real Castlevania.
There's also a Castlevania expansion for V Rising as well.
Why don't you just take your heart and just put it into the thing over here, Bloodstained, where it exists and it's coming out.
Bro, I felt like such an asshole when they showed off the Bloodstained sequel thing.
I saw.
Oh, you actually saw that?
I saw that clip. Yeah.
Because I was no
fucking way. No
so
fucking way.
Excited.
Yeah.
And then as soon as like, oh, it's not Dracula. Oh, I don't care anymore. Man.
No shot. He was correct. There was no shot.
Oh man.
All right, let's take some letters.
If you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Let's take one.
Don't tell me to shut up about Dracula. I love Dracula.
All right.
He's cool.
All right. So we got one over here from Commando Joe says, I realize we have a lot more terms for new games than in a series now. Remakes, MGS3 Delta, Ivalice Chronicles, remasters, Last of Us 2, Last of Us Again, reboots, DMC Devil May Cry, re-release, pretty much everything digitally ported. Remakeable, a remake that's also a sequel, like remake like FF7, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
With these various types of re-games, if you could pick one for each slot, what would you pick? I'd love to see all the Mega Man Legends games in it get a full remake now that Capcom has around 20 years of third-person action games under their belts. I mean, Mega Man Legends is a pretty good place to go. That deserves some treatment there.
I like Mega Man Legends.
I think the remake will, like, we don't, like, Ava did it, FF7 did it. I think anything else doing it in not a particularly clever way is just not gonna work as
I think Evangelion did it, and no one has done it as good as Evangelion.
It's just
like not even close.
You just, that's it, right? Like I'll give a passing mention to the Star Trek movie that was like alternate reality version thing. Okay, cool. That's I think that's an interesting thing. It was never, like, at the time it was never done, you know.
The reason why Ava got away with it is because it took like 10 years to figure it out. FF7 people had it figured from the trailer. It was clear.
But there's also that part of me that goes like, as much as I would love Mega Man Legends to get, like, you know, picked up off the ground and have the dust blown off of it, I would love just a new one that, like,
even without Inafune.
Yeah, I know, right? God, that would be whoa. Could you imagine the game actually existing and coming out and being good? Like, wow.
Oh no.
I just don't. Yeah, I can't be necessarily say that I'm like, I need to see that remade or requelled or whatever, instead of just like a new game that picks up where we left off and uses the previous lore to, like, establish things and go forward into a new direction. You know, new things good.
I'd be more than happy to just have a cleaned up, re-released version of the entire Legacy of Kain series.
Voice acting,
not just Soul Reaver 1 and 2.
What about voice acting though?
No, when I say cleaned up, I literally mean like new sprites for Blood Omen and a playable version of Defiance. So like I mean like
re-release.
Tops.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, as long as you can get everyone, like, you know, paid for using the same thing.
That might be tough. that might be tough.
You can talk to the estates.
I think maybe half of those people are dead.
Talk to the estates, you know, in question and see what's up. But yeah, those are legendary performances. What are you supposed to do, you know? Or I guess recast, which is, you know, that's the other.
No, I would rather they scorch the shit from my mind.
And that's the thing is, like, until you hear a really good person do the recast, you kind of want to fight that forever.
No one will ever be Tony J ever again. Ever.
He's goated, man. He's goated. Forever in your brain. All right, let's take one over here. Asking, hello, Short Dad and Tall Dad. I've recently been letting my 6-year-old son play video games on my Switch. At first, I was worried which games he would play, but he's been supervised by me choosing Harvest Moon 64. It's the only game he cares about. Do you have any recommendations for low stim? So we were talking about this a little bit.
Usually I would actually just say use your eyes, right? So when I got my nephew a Switch a long time ago, he was like 7, and I got a Breath of the Wild for it. Because Breath of the Wild is slow as shit and wandering and meandering. Right?
That's, yeah, I could see, I mean, it has its moments, certainly, but, like, I can see, I mentioned Balatro a little bit before, because, like, ooh, during the rewards, it's going crazy, but for the most part, you're fine. UFO 50's probably got
UFO 50's
a ton of good things on that. Animal Crossing is going to be great. Yeah, I'm thinking about this little collection of low stim games myself, you know?
You're kind of like safe to a degree on like a wide variety of Nintendo games.
Yeah,
like, I wouldn't say Mario Wonder, because Wonder's about explosions and shit like that, but like I give him fucking Mario Odyssey. That shit's fine.
Most of that will go fine, I imagine. You know, yeah, I could see like a fucking Star Fox game maybe going a little bit like wah, you know, but
the main thing isn't gonna be, remember, I only have a barely 2, like he's not even 2, right? So but the way me and Paige are gonna play it by ear is it's every individual kid's reaction to levels of stimulus is going to be different. Wooly, I am 100% certain that you knew kids in elementary school and high school that if their mom and dad let them watch wrestling even once, they would go crazy and fight kids the next day.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I fought those kids.
It's like, so like every individual kid's like tolerance and resilience is going to be different. So like you give them like a Mario Odyssey, right? And if your kid starts to go nuts and be like, oh, I don't want to do anything but Mario Odyssey, like you need to cold turkey that shit for like a year, right?
Yeah.
But if they're happily playing Harvest Moon and you're like, you want to go outside, and they're like, yeah, cool, great.
And fortunately, I can say Kirby has a lot of places to go, as well. Kirby games are pretty solid all around on that. Yeah, but I imagine the low stim playlist will come back in short form very quickly as we figure out what she's into. All right, that'll do it for us. Call it.
All right, I'm playing Death Stranding in an hour live. Go to the thing. Also, everyone else have a good week. Goodbye. Wait, no, I mean everyone should have a good week. Not. I'm implying that I don't want the people who are going to come to my show to have a good week.
Everybody, especially that one person who's going to have the exact same week as you.
That's crazy. That's crazy. No follow-up questions.